Hello everyone, hope you guys are doing well. Sorry about the delays so far. Unfortunately, I had some issues getting the stream set up, but everything's all good. Let me know if the audio is fine. And we're here to answer your questions. 1 hour and 50 minutes up until the deadline. We'll be waiting for the German lineup, most important thing that we'll get today. But we'll just try to answer all your questions. 2 people as well have resubscribed as members of the channel, so thank you so much, Omer M. Welcome to President. Really appreciate the support. Thank you for joining. And Protagonist as well, you've already been part of the channel for a couple of months now, 3 months as a member. Thank you so much as well. Good luck with the tournament to you as well, and best of luck to your national team. Couple questions in chat that I can see. Let's just quickly go through them. Thoughts on Arda Güler? I mean, in my opinion, he's a great punt, but you also have to sort of keep in mind that Turkey have a weaker match day too. So it really depends on your chip strategy as well. And as far as Trent, once again, he's a little bit of a punt because you can't necessarily guarantee that Trent plays match day 2. So what I've tried to do, because we tend to want to remove the Italian players from our team for match day 2, we probably also want to reconsider whether Trent's position in the team is nailed for England. I have sort of taken the strategy where my 2 punts in my team are Trent and DeMarco, and I'm prepared to save a little bit of money to go no DeMarco, or rather, I mean, 0.5 million in the bank actually has been saved within this team here, so that I can go DeMarco to Guardiola. And then for Trent, he's also another backup option that can simply go towards Guardiola. DeMarco for me is a lovely fullback anyways for the purposes of this tournament. So I could very well just choose to keep DeMarco in my team, and I don't really think I have too many qualms with that ultimately. Giroud did say Mbappe is fine for match day 1. I've also seen some of the betting markets. It doesn't seem like they have felt like there was a huge impact on Mbappe. Potentially, of course, we can expect that Mbappe will play a few less minutes than usual, but I really think he's fine. Double sound. Is anyone hearing double sound? Which Italy defenders will start against Albania? I think I saw a predicted lineup that Gianni Buttice posted, and I believe it was Calafiori, Di Lorenzo, Di Marco as well, and Bastoni, of course. So almost a back 4, if you can imagine, playing for Italy. So I don't think we'll see Cambiaso, but that could change, of course. That's only a predicted lineup, and I do think it's risky, of course, if you're taking punts on Cambiaso. Why is Portugal's defense so up in the air? I think the main thing, if you look at Roberto Martinez historically, is he's played a back 3 and a back 5. So sometimes there are situations where Goncalo Inacio plays. Sometimes there are situations where Antonio Silva plays within just a back 4. There's also Pepe, of course, within the team. When it comes to the fullbacks, the issue, of course, is just that rotation between Nuno Mendes and Joe Dallo. And not to mention, if you look at Roberto Martinez even and his management within Belgium, you've seen iterations of teams where he can play a back 3 and then he can actually play a winger as a fullback. So, for example, if you remember Belgium back in the day, they used to play Yannick Carrasco or Thorgan Hazard as the left wing back. So it's very possible that Portugal can use almost a winger as a left wing back, and I think we saw that in one of the friendly games where I saw João Felix play there out wide. So something to think about too. And I do think Inacio is probably the most nailed Portuguese defender, not named Ruben Diaz or Cancelo, if that helps. Harry, sorry about the delays. Hopefully we're here now. Someone's asking a question about if I've got money, who would I put to win the tournament? Look, I'm Spanish, so no, but I mean, to be fair, I think I'd still put my money on France. J Pups, thank you so much for the question. Is Klaus too risky, even with Theo doubts? I do think Klaus is still risky. And another thing to mention too is, I mean, France's sort of clean sheet odds aren't particularly high. So I think the value towards Theo Hernandez was more around the fact that he's a world-class fullback. Whereas with Klaus, obviously, he is a very attacking fullback too when you look at his stats for Liga. But am I saying that is he going to be worth the punt? I would say probably not. If you wanted to take punts just for the purposes of match day 1, you have Danish players, right? Christiansen is quite cheap, to be honest, as well, that you can sort of bank on. With the Dutch defense, of course, you're going for expensive options, but I do think it's worthwhile to consider them as well for a match day 1 perspective. MPass, thank you so much. Finally, a Fran live stream highlight of the week. Thank you so much for joining. Highlight of my week that you'd find it to be a highlight, in the reverse way. So thank you so much for being a part of the stream. Really appreciate the support so far. Vamos España. What about a chip strategy considering unlimited in match day 4 and 4 teams will make it as best? But the thing about, if you go unlimited match day 4, I mean, it's not possible, right? Because you have unlimited transfers anyways in match day 4. So the whole purpose of why I'm going for, let's say, a wildcard match day 5 strategy is so that I can actually allow myself to maybe take some punts in match day 4, and also, you know, maybe take some more punts, whereas a lot of people will be going for teams that they're expecting to advance. Why is Mittelstadt captain instead of Gundogan? I just think Mittelstadt is, first of all, Germany have really good clean sheet odds. Mittelstadt's an attacking fullback, decent amount of ball recoveries. I think there's a good chance that he can outscore Gundogan, and I think Gundogan's minutes are a little bit limited. Excuse me. Thoughts on Konoplia for Ukraine? I think he's a great option, right wing back or sometimes right back for Ukraine. So definitely a good pick. Sorry about that. Someone's actually at my door, so I'll be right back very quickly. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Apologies about the delay there. So thoughts on Sudakov? I think Sudakov's great. I mean, obviously small sample size, right? Because obviously when you look domestically with his performance for Shakhtar Donetsk, it's not exactly like he's absolutely lit the world alight. But for the purposes of the Ukrainian national team, he's played really well so far. And I think that's a big shift, of course, in terms of our expectations. Inacio is not the most nailed out to Cancelo and Diaz. I mean, I sort of disagree. I've spoken to a lot of Portuguese fans, and they do still think that Nuno Mendes can compete with him. So I think it's a little bit suspect to... I mean, to be fair, I just wouldn't really be going for a Portuguese player outside of Cancelo, if I'm being honest. You picked Gundogan. Yes, I did. Part of this is because I can actually save 0.5 million, as I said, for match day 2, so I can go DeMarco to Guardiola. And obviously, if Trent doesn't do well, then I'll just change that the same way around. Rodri or Pedri, I'd probably still go Rodri. Pedri doesn't have too many set pieces. He's also not on penalties. I've gone for Rodri for ball recoveries, man of the match potential, and penalties. I do prefer Gundogan over Wirtz because I've saved 0.5 million. And part of that, as I said, is because I do have a plan to go to Guardiola. So I'll be posting my full lineup anyways in an hour's time when we actually get the full lineup. Turkey missing some key players, especially down there right, which is where he operates. Adds, thank you, I appreciate that. I mean, of course, you know, for the purposes of Turkey as well, I think there's a lot of great punts there, like Çalhanoğlu, and honestly, if Arda Güler starts, which is very hard to sort of predict right now, is very good. The S in Spain is silent for this tournament. Come on, bro. Why are you doing this to me? Keymaker. I got rid of Foden. I did. I looked at the most recent sort of updates in terms of the odds. And it doesn't seem like people are that high on Foden. Potentially, it's obviously a tactical thing. Obviously, historically, Foden hasn't performed massively for England, despite this sort of being his breakout season within Man City. So I also thought about, you know, the position of Jorginho within my draft and me wanting to sort of move away from Jorginho. So by doing that, I've actually moved away from Jorginho. I've decided to sort of go for more of the midfielders that I kind of like. A lot of the midfielders at 7 million, at 6.5 million are players that I like. I mean, even within this draft here, I mean, a lot of people can argue that Sudakov's great, that Eriksen is great, that, let's say, Toni Kroos is a great option as well. If Pedri was cheaper than Rodri, who would I choose? I'd still probably go for Rodri, to be quite honest. How can I change the formation? You just use the auto sub mechanic and you can naturally change the formation. Kane or Ronaldo? Personally, I would go for Kane if you know, money wasn't an issue. But personally, money is an issue, so I've gone for Ronaldo. Is Dumfries a good pick, bro? I do think he is, but I think his spot is a little bit shaky because some people were saying that when we got a little bit of an information on the Dutch team and sort of what team was practicing, you know, with certain bibs in training, it seems like Gertruda might have been playing right back within training. So I still think Dumfries is nice for only people who are going for a match day 1 punt. Someone is also asking why I don't have Danish players in my team. So the issue is because I'm going for a wildcard 5 strategy or wildcard match day 5 strategy. That's why I'm a little bit more keen towards going for you know, picks who actually ultimately have good match days 1 and 2. You can make the argument, of course, that Szoboszlai doesn't have a good match day 2, but I'm also a little bit more confident in Szoboszlai overall compared to Eriksen, just like for like. Saleh, thank you so much for the super chat. Kane/Cambiaso or downgrade to Ronaldo? I would go Ronaldo DeMarco because I don't think Cambiaso's nailed, to be honest. I think I will be doing daily lives for the games. Maybe I'll have to consider, you know, what the format of the video is, because obviously I'm more of a fantasy content creator, but, you know, I do love football and I do love watching the games. I might even do some watch alongs as well, because obviously I just generally love watching football. So Let me know what you guys and your thoughts are in terms of things like that. Spam results in timeout. Absolutely, Ahmed, you're right. Fran Shaqiri. Yeah, I mean, Shaqiri is great. In my opinion, I think Shaqiri, it's an interesting one. Historically, of course, he's one of the greatest players when it comes to international football, right? At 6.5 million with the two fixtures that Switzerland have, it's great. But you can really see that his minutes within the national team are starting to dwindle. And of course, the coach has mentioned that he physically won't be able to play 90 minutes every 4 days. So I do think Shaqiri, we need to sort of look at him, with a little bit less glean over, what he's done historically. He is a little bit older. So I think it's not necessarily the case that we need to have Shaqiri within our team. I'll definitely look at watch-alongs for sure. Thanks, Saleh. Out of Mittelstadt, Gundogan, or Wirtz, who to captain? I would probably consider going Mittelstadt or Wirtz because if you kind of think about it, you probably do want to go with slightly more risky picks at the start of the group stage, right? A lot of people will be going for Gundogan captain. Maybe he'll go crazy and I'll regret it. But personally, I kind of like to go for picks where they have less ownership at the beginning because we have such strong template options at the back half. Your Kanes, your Mbappe's, your Lukaku's, depending on your draft. Ronaldo, of course, in my case. Who will choose to cover Szoboszlai? I would probably go Szoboszlai. Ultimately, he's got much more access to points through being a penalty taker, etc., etc. FPL Chai, hope you're doing well. Nice to see you in the chat. Why did I leave out Jorginho and Foden? Ultimately, I wanted to have a stronger midfield, and I felt like Jorginho was a little bit weak in my team. So I've moved away from him. Sudakov or Shaqiri, I'd probably still go Shaqiri if I'm honest. Højbjerg or Jorginho for differential. I think it depends on... I would actually probably go Højbjerg, to be honest, but I don't really love either. I have switched off the enablers, to be quite honest. For Frimpong worth the risk, I would say no, because I don't think he's going to start match day 1. At least that's my thoughts. Thoughts on the Germany midfield assets. I think Toni Kroos is fantastic. Gundogan versus Wirtz is an interesting one because I do think that when you look at the market odds, right, Gundogan is much more goal scoring favored, whereas Wirtz I believe is Germany's #1 creative sort of pick, right? He is #1 on assist projections for Germany. So from that perspective, it's quite interesting to consider both options. I do think, we love goals. We're in the midfield market for goals because midfielders score more points for goals. So I kind of like Gundogan from that basis. If you're asking me about just personally who I like as a player, obviously I kind of like Wirtz more. And I hope he joins Real Madrid, to be honest. But no, I mean, to be honest, going back to your question, I think Kroos and Gundogan will probably give you more consistent avenues to points. Kroos being a set-piece taker and also probably being a 90-minute player for Germany, at least for match days 1 and 2, I think is very essential. Where's Højbjerg? He's not in this draft, my friend. We're going 0 Danes because we're not using a chip strategy for match day 2. I think you're putting too much faith in German clean sheets. I mean, that's up to you. That's your personal opinion. I mean, the reality is, what's your alternative? These two German midfielders are 8.5 million. I don't think there's another pair of 8.5 million defenders from two players within the same team that have really good clean sheet odds outside of Germany, outside of Belgium, where you have De Kuyper and Wout Faes. So it's not that I'm putting, let's say, emphasis on the German clean sheets, but actually the reality is Germany is well rated to do well within this specific game. Obviously they can concede, but that's the whole point of tournament football. No Portuguese defense. I couldn't really afford Cancelo, and I didn't really want any other defenders within my team. I still prefer Pickford over Diogo Costa. And Bellingham, couldn't afford him really within my draft. I wanted a well-balanced midfield, and it's come down to it where I couldn't go for, let's say I prefer Fernandes over Foden, if we're being honest, even Saka as well, and then hard to afford Bellingham, KDB types. No Dutch players. I'm going for a match day 1 plus match day 2 strategy, so I can't really fit in a Dutch player rather in this draft. So the point is most of the players within this team are good for match day 1 and 2. Maybe Ukrainian defenders. I think Ukraine and Switzerland actually have really good defense as well. But I mean, once again, going back to the betting odds and also just generally like team strengths within the tournament, I think Germany's still up there, England's still up there. No reason to really move away from them. And then obviously from the context of Italy, as I said, I plan to go out of DiMarco into, let's say, Josko Guardiola. So that will allow me to, capitalize, I suppose, on Albania. If you have to put money on it, who will win? Probably France. Hopefully Sané somehow starts. He would be a great pick. That would be a huge pick that would completely change sort of our perception of let's say, the picks. But yeah, I'm probably not believing that Sané starts until we get the German lineup. I'm just going to max out on Spanish players. That's what Ahmed's doing. Totally fair. I mean, look, I play fantasy games usually for fun, but for me, doing well in fantasy games is fun. So I've changed sort of my approach, I suppose, to fantasy football. I understand the arguments for using a differential captain game week 1, but I think people will be dumb and throw away a Gundogan 14-pointer given the chance. Yeah, but I mean, how likely is Gundogan going to score a 14-pointer? Like, that's ridiculous. I can also give you situations where Mittelstadt can drop an 18-pointer, but, the question, of course, is how likely it is. I think looking at, for example, the goal-scoring odds for Gundogan, they're very good, but keep in mind, of course, his minutes could be reduced. With Mittelstadt, I think the clean sheet odds are quite good. At the same time, he's also quite attacking. I'm not saying he's great at ball recoveries, but he's still a defender that has really good access and routes to points. For example, if I had to use DeMarco as an option as well, like he's actually probably my favorite captaincy option on the day that he plays. And it's not necessarily just the case that I think when you look at, for example, FPL, defenders are traditionally a lot worse than midfielders. In a tournament format like this, where you get additional points for ball recoveries, which obviously defenders usually do better at compared to midfielders outside of, let's say, a defensive midfielder like Rodri, it's pretty close, actually, the way that this format is set up. What do I prefer, Saka or Foden? Personally, I prefer Foden because I think Saka has slightly dubious minutes. I mean, obviously, he's coming back from an injury. He might be eased in as well when it comes to this tournament. He might be sort of rested, I suppose, earlier on in the game too. So I think I'd probably prefer Foden. But of course, if that 0.5 million actually helps your team out in a massive way, I would totally be comfortable with just going Saka because I still think he starts. Think about bringing in Austrian players for Matchday 2 as their offensive pressing monsters. Like, I mean, Matchday 2, these are the teams that I really like for Matchday 2, right? Particularly if you're going to go Limitless 3 anyways. Serbia has a great game. Czech Republic have a great game. And yeah, those are the kind of teams that I really like. Austria as well, to be fair. And then obviously a lot of the teams that are within this draft already have good Matchday 2 fixtures. So, your Germanys, your Belgiums, your France, your Englands all have good Matchday 2 fixtures. Arguably Spain have the toughest one when it comes to my own draft, but I'm Spanish. I just wanted to have one Spanish player, so that's why I have Rodri in my team. No Kane in the team. Yeah, brave decision. And look, Kane can absolutely destroy me, but I'll probably have to Trent cap that day, and I'll take it on the chin. Thoughts on Virgil van Dijk? I think he's a great pick, to be honest, but once again, it does come down to your perception on sorry. Did someone just say 11-5 has posted predicted points in group stage of players? Yeah, I think the predicted points have also been shared by Schadenfreudist. I do agree with most of the predicted points, to be honest, but you probably have to look more deeply into that model. I think, first of all, when you're making decisions here, you want to kind of look at what the market has thought, so betting odds as well. You can look at team models like 11-5. You can look at actual models like Schadenfreude, and you can obviously have a look at all the data yourself, right? I've looked into ball recoveries per 90 for all the players within Europe that have, played within the top 5 domestic leagues, and I've looked at their stats. That's why I really like Rodri, for example. I still like Szoboszlai for that reason. Where I changed from 4-4-2 and 5-3-2, all you have to do is just change the auto sub within your team. So I'll just quickly show you how I do it. So for example, I just click on a player, I just click on sub out, and then that allows me to sort of change my team around. I'm going to press cancel though, but that's very simply how you kind of change your formation on the fly. Fran, what about Nico Williams? I do think Nico Williams is an interesting player to consider. I really wish Lamine Yamal was a midfielder because I would definitely probably be on Lamine Yamal. But Nico Williams, I think at 7 million is actually not too bad. Mudryk as well is quite interesting when it comes down to it. So is Sudakov. Will Pedri play? I think he definitely starts. Think Sake starts. Do you mean Saka? I think Saka does start. Did KDB not get back in for me? No, because I think I've decided not to have an enabler in my team. And that's why you can see a much more well-rounded midfield for me. I just wanted basically, maximum punts on each player. I didn't really like Jorginho, I suppose, in the end. Because I felt like, looking at, for example, some of the odds and the data that we have, it's not necessarily the case where I think you have to absolutely stretch to kind of get towards your Fodens, your KDBs, your Bellinghams of the world. So I felt like it still made sense to actually go for some other players. In UCL Fantasy, Hummels was the highest scoring player by 30 points. Exactly. And part of this too, as I said, is defenders are so much stronger in the sort of UEFA game modes compared to FPL. So definitely something that's very important. Any news on Teo Hernandez? Not that I could see, but I think he should be fine for the game. But I really haven't looked into it. Change Teo Hernandez to who from French defense? If you're worried about Teo Hernandez, I think you can probably just skip on a French defender, right? You probably were previously going for Teo Hernandez as an attacking asset. But obviously, with the exception of, I guess, Klaus, I still would probably pass up on the French defender. Just go for another attacking fullback. So, for example, Mela, Christiansen are interesting options from Denmark. Obviously, they have a tougher match day 2. So if you're looking at someone who's very good for match day 1 and 2, I suppose you're looking at Austrian defenders at 4.5. Someone like Whittemer is 4.5. You know, Konoply has 4.5 as well. Thoughts on Trossard? I still like him as a pick. Have I spent all my budget on this draft? No, that's not true. I've spent 99.5 million. Oh, I'm so sorry, Salah. Did I miss the super chat? My bad. Your team is Verbruggen, Konoplia, DeMarco, Mittelstadt, Koundé. Koundé, I think, honestly, I don't really love Koundé too much, Salah, because I don't see the upside being that high, even though I think Koundé will start. So personally, I don't love Koundé a lot. The rest of your team, in my opinion, is very strong, and I do like the Goulier punt. Hopefully, it's a match day 1 team only, because I probably would only go for options like, you know, Arda Goulier for the purposes of match day 1. So when it comes back to your draft, as I said, the only thing I don't really like too much is Koundé. If you could change that around, I'd probably like that draft a bit more. Let's see. Gundogan or Wirtz. I mean, it's a 0.5 million difference. So I would go back to you and say, you know, do you prefer the 0.5 in your team or not? Thoughts on Grimaldo? I think he's not nailed within the Spanish team. I do think that there's going to be rotation between Cucurella and Grimaldo. Anyone have Faze, so won't go for Kuiper? I think that's fine if you want to go for Faze. Wout Faze is cheap. He's a good, valuable asset, and he should start match day 1 and match day 2. Is this my final team selection? Most likely. Is Faze nailed or is De Kuiper better? I think De Kuiper should still play for match day 1, match day 2. I would say Faze is more nailed. So if you are someone who doesn't like taking risks, that's fine. Just go for Wout Faze. Who should I put? Çalhanoğlu or Nico Williams? I like Nico Williams more. But Çalhanoğlu, I think if you're going purely for match day 1 is better. Cancelo, I think, is a great pick. Once again, a little bit too expensive for me to reach, so I haven't gone for him. De Kuiper or Whitmer, I'd still probably go De Kuiper just because I think clean sheet odds are better for Belgium. Faze is a center back. De Kuiper is a wing back. I'm aware of that. I'm not really sure what the point of that was. Avinash, thank you so much for being a member for 1 month. Is Theo Hernandez over Trent Alexander-Arnold worth it? I think there's a bit of doubt over Theo Hernandez and his availability for the game, so I would probably actually still go for Trent. I also had a look at some of the market odds for Trent, and the assist odds are beautiful right now, so I'm pretty high on Trent, actually. Is there price rises in the game? I don't think so, no. Bruno versus KDB, thoughts? I think Bruno's cheaper, obviously, so that's quite significant. I also think Bruno's going to play more minutes compared to KDB, so I really like Bruno over that. I think it's close, though, and you'll see, for example, the assist share, the goal share is very similar. Thoughts on Saka? Why isn't Morata talked about? I think Spain have tough fixtures. He's not on penalties, and I think it's a little bit expensive for the purposes of match day 1. Have had Jude in my draft since the start, but now I would prefer KDB over Jude personally, right? A lot more set pieces, which could give you avenues to points, and I think ultimately as well, when you think about, you know, who can get man of the match for England, I think there's a lot more candidates than, let's say, Belgium when it comes to KDB. I think he's sort of the leading option, right? Thoughts on double Belgium, Castagne, and Faze? I'd probably just go for De Kuiper. You know, why not save 0.5 million? Van Dijk versus Trent Alexander-Arnold. Once again, you know, do you need to save that 0.5 million? Is probably the question you want to ask. And then the second question is the question of, are you targeting just match day 1, or are you targeting match day 1 and 2? Because obviously Van Dijk unfortunately just doesn't have a great match day 2. Kane or Ronaldo, if money doesn't matter, I'd probably go Kane, to be honest. Double up in Germany, Wirtz and Gundogan double up is totally fine. I'm totally fine with that. Hi, Fran. Wirtz and Kane or Ronaldo and Foden / Saka? I think personally I would actually go for Ronaldo plus Foden and Saka. Very close, though. Is KDB on penalties? No. Lukaku's on penalties. And I think Trossard's on penalties if Lukaku gets subbed off. Will you be showing us your captain switches and sub-ins? Yeah, I think every day I'll probably do a live stream for the Euro Fantasy game. I'll log on, I'll do my live stream, and I'll keep you guys updated. I'll also probably do a sort of almost review video every few days or so, just to keep you guys updated, just to see how we're doing, of course. But let me know what your thoughts are in terms of what kind of videos you guys want to see as well as the tournament goes on. Mbappe nailed for 90 minutes. I can't say that. I can't say that's confirmed. But I think that Giroud mentioned that he's fine. It didn't seem like the knock was that serious, and hopefully he should be good to go and to play 80-85 minutes. Kvaratskhelia or Gundogan and then Depay or Havertz. I'd probably go Kvara and Havertz. Are we sure De Kuiper will start? I'm pretty sure he will start match day 1 at least. I mean, if you think about it, right, he's played well so far in his sort of short appearances for Belgium. And for match day 2, you know, you might see Ted come back into the team, but I think it's rather unlikely because, does it really make sense to sort of rush Ted back in when De Kuiper's playing well, if he plays well for match day 1? So probably I'd still take the punt on De Kuiper. I really like an attacking left back, and I'll take that chance. Is FaZe going to play? I think absolutely. Thoughts on Kroos? I think Kroos is a lovely pick. When it comes down to it, for fantasy games, someone who's on a lot of set pieces is lovely. When you look at, for example, the Champions League final, look how many chances he created, even though he plays very deep. And at the same time, I suppose there are going to be people who could actually vote him as man of the match. So I do like Kroos a lot. And I think his minutes are very good compared to other German midfielders. What Jorginho as a pick, he got the better fixture. Yeah, but the issue, I suppose, with Jorginho is that his minutes are a little bit diminished, right? Because there's some other substitutes within the Italian team. Obviously, I still think he's on penalties, but it's not exactly the option that I'm looking for. Everyone asleep on Dallo. He was insane at the World Cup, and his cutbacks are always there for Bruno. I agree with that, but I still think Nuno Mendes has a good shot to compete with Dallo for minutes. Celtish, hey Fran, if I'm happy with the captain score, I mean, look, it really depends on the captain score. You won't lose. You can't change the badge daily and go back to let's say for example Mittelstadt gets 14 points. You can't just change the captain tomorrow and then say you want to go back to Mittelstadt. So I think if you get a captaincy hold that's like 12 points, I mean that's where I would honestly consider just already stopping. Like that's amazing. I think even 10 points is a nice little cutoff as well. How's man of the match decided? It's arbitrary. It's actually, I think, decided by like a judgmental panel. So a UEFA panel just decides. Historically, a lot of people are saying that they like the midfielders in UEFA matches, and obviously I've played UCL Fantasy quite a bit. It seems like the midfielders are quite rated, but it can always change when it comes to international football as well, where you have a lot more talismans too. Chris says, don't understand the Kvaratskhelia pick. Georgia is by far the weakest team, but the whole point is that when it comes to the man of match factor, I think it's there. Obviously, you can say that Georgia will win 0 matches, so therefore 0 man of the matches, but it's not as simple as that, right? There are some matches where we think that Georgia can get some decent value out of them. At the same time, he's on penalties. And when you look at, for example, the goal share, right? It's not often that you have a midfielder that has that much goal share, that much assist share, and does so much for the team and also plays 95 minutes a game. So when you look at the big team, some of the players are diminished by the fact that they're earlier substitutes. At the same time, when it comes to man of the match, there's a lot more split of share. For example, if I talk about France, or let's say if I talk about Germany, I mean, look at the amount of options that they have. Like Musiala, Wirtz, Gundogan, Havertz can all win a man of the match. Toni Kroos could even get man of the match, or even someone like Joshua Kimmich, even Mittelstadt, right? So there's a lot more depth in the team. There's a lot more sort of players that have a lot more contribution to the impacts of big outcomes from big teams. So I really do think that that man of the match aspect specifically is very helpful for players like Szoboszlai and Kvaratskhelia. Is João Felix an option? I think he's a bit of a minutes issue. I'd probably swerve. Calafiori has been predicted to start. That's what I can see. Why do I have Ronaldo? Why not? Is there a problem with Ronaldo? DWNST, thank you so much for the super chat. Hi. I did actually already respond to that, so appreciate you for sending that in. Is Dovbyk an option? I think the issue, of course, is Yaremchuk, right? Yaremchuk could take some of the minutes away from Dovbyk, and obviously if you're competing with the minutes, it's a little bit doubtful. Do you think Scotland will score a goal? I mean, I'm hoping Scotland don't score, obviously. I mean, that's why I have double German defense anyways. Can you explain why you chose to captain Mittelstadt? First of all, fullback, so obviously attacking fullback as well for the system. When you look at, for example, his performances for Stuttgart, he's a very progressive player as well. So I do think that when it comes down to it, you also have to look at the clean sheet odds for Germany being very, very high. It's actually probably top 2 or top 1 for the group stages when it comes to match day 1 clean sheets and the odds there. So I think there's a lot of dividends to points for Mittelstadt. Obviously, Gundogan has insane sort of goal share when it comes to the odds, and it's very close. But I also don't mind captaining a slightly more risky pick. And when I mean risky pick, I just mean by ownership. Your thoughts on Sudakov? I think he's a great pick. Very creative player. So I don't really mind him at all as a pick for Ukraine. I think pin a comment about captaincy. It's the most asked question. No, I think that's, I mean, I can't really be bothered to write it out right now. Really like the Kvaratskhelia punt. Appreciate that, Honglam. Bro, please answer Toni Kroos or Rodri. I would still go Rodri. A lot more ball recoveries, penalty share as well, which I like. And yeah, it's close though. Frimpong on right wing has such a high ceiling. Yeah, but at the same time, you also got to think about how low the floor is if he doesn't start the football game. So, why not think about that as well? Why no Shaqiri over Kvaratskhelia? Look, judgment, personal preference, right? Shaqiri actually has really good goal share. He's got really good assist share as well. I just think that his minutes might be a little bit low at this stage of the career, and especially with the manager's sort of sentiments on his ability to play like a lot of minutes in football. So, yeah, I think that's sort of swear with me away out of, let's say, Shaqiri. Jack says, am I stupid for going KDB over Lukaku? Not at all. I think KDB is wonderful. I'd love to have KDB in my team. But the thing is, too, I think with the forward position, it's very tough to kind of go for certain options, right? For example, if I went for Havertz, it would be even more expensive for me to get, let's say, if I looked at the two Belgium and German combinations, right? Like Lukaku going in is just cheaper than Havertz KDB. So it was a lot tougher. Salah says, swapped Koundé for Grimaldo. I have to say I'm a little bit low on Grimaldo, Salah. I'm sorry, because I don't really know if Grimaldo's confirmed to start personally. Dumfries last Euro hero. Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, we don't play this game based on who did well last, right? It's about predicting the future as well. Dumfries is a great pick, but I'm not sure ultimately if he's the best pick unless you're going for Matchday 1 and you're planning to use, let's say, 2 chip strats for Matchday 2 and 3. What's your sub plan when you have 5 players on the 22nd of June? What do you mean when it comes to... I mean, a lot of the players will just be within my starting team already, no? What about Vargas and Switzerland? I think Vargas is actually very rated as a pick, and a lot of people do like him alongside Arda Güler at 6 million. There's obviously Reinders as well from the Dutch team, but these are all interesting options, I would say, at 6 million. Am I that in love with them as picks? To be fair, probably not. I do like a lot of the 6.5 million midfielders more. Is Rodri the first penalty taker for Spain? Yes, he is. Anyone else? App not working. Saka or Trossard, I have no KDB. I think I would probably go with Trossard. Teams with Rodri is only people who misclicked getting Pedri in the team. Fair enough. I do love Pedri, and I do like the fact that Luis de la Fuente basically mentioned that Pedri's going to play as the 10 for Spain in the tournament. The only thing I don't really like about Pedri is that he's not on too many set pieces, so I do love Pedri, as I said, but rather go for Rodri. There's a lot more routes to points as well through ball recoveries and things like that. Is the site down? Oh my god, has it crashed? Really? I'm not going to refresh my page then, because let me actually quickly have a look at the site. No, the site seems to work fine for me, guys. Is it not working for you guys? Seems to be working fine for me. I'm also going to quickly check the sort of German national team, see if they have posted their lineup. No, I think we'll probably have to just wait until the hour. Let me know if you guys can't see anything when it comes to the website, but happy to... I mean, I'm using the website on my computer, on my PC, so obviously if the app's broken or whatever, I think the best solution is probably to just jump onto your PC and probably get that sorted. Yeah, if you're curious. Working in the Caribbean, awesome, Kyle. Really appreciate you tuning in. Thoughts on Havertz? I still think Havertz is a great pick, right? Another thing too is I think his minutes, like his minute security, is pretty decent too. So it's something that I do really like about Havertz. However, of course, I still really like Lukaku, Mbappe, Kane, Ronaldo, and it's kind of hard to fit Havertz into the front line for me. Swapped Mbappe to Griezmann, which then allowed me to take out Jorginho and pick someone else with 7 million in the bank. I think that's fine, right? Like, I mean, ultimately, I did the same thing too with going out of Foden within my team and taking Jorginho out. Best goalkeeper for 4 million, I'd probably still say Stanek from Czech Republic is probably the most interesting pick for 4 million. Matchday 1, not very good, but Matchday 2, very good for Czech Republic. Ericsson for 7 million versus Rodri for 6.5. I'd still probably go for 6.5. Believe in the ball recoveries. Why not? Is Jamal Musiala a good pick? Yes, but I still think he's a little bit expensive, right? I do think his minutes when it comes down to, let's say, comparing versus Gundogan and comparing versus Wirtz is actually better. But there's a little bit of risk there attached to the price point, I suppose, of Musiala, because his goal share isn't particularly high. J-Pops, thank you so much for the super chat once again. Wirtz plus Rodri versus Gundo plus Szoboszlai. I probably would go Gundo plus Szoboszlai personally. Limitless Matchday 2 as well. Yeah, I'd still take the punt on Szoboszlai. Exact result today. I'm not going to predict results. I'm not in the business of predicting results. France can score more than 2. I don't think Austria have as good of a defense as you think. The odds for France to score 2, I believe, are still under 2 goals. So, but it's still like between 1 and 2. It's actually a lot closer, leaning towards 2 goals. So obviously, if I had to predict, I'd say 2 goals as opposed to 1. How about Sudakov Ukraine? I think Sudakov's great. I think he's a great pick. Saka or Trossard? I think just go KDB at that point. How have you got an American and British accent? I mean, I live in London, but obviously I grew up outside of the UK, so it's probably why I have a mix. Mbappe, I doubt. I don't think so. It seems like Giroud basically confirmed to us today within his sort of press conference that Mbappe is ready to play. Is Theo Hernandez injured? I believe he's got a knock, so we're a little bit uncertain about his availability for match day 1. Am I taking Szoboszlai out match day 2? Probably not, to be honest. I'll probably keep him. Thoughts on Widmer? I really like Widmer, and I also like Fabian Schär as well when it comes to sort of spending 4.5 million on a defender. So I do really like them for the people who are going for wildcard 5. It's an international accent. Yeah, I think Ahmed's right. Best 7 million midfielder. Tough one. Honestly, I think 1 out of the 3 between Szoboszlai, Gundogan, and Kvaratskhelia, given that I've gone for all 3. No, but really, the 7 million midfield is absolutely stacked. You have Mudryk as well. You have Eriksen. It's tough. Why not so many England players? It's not that I'm low on England players. I just kind of I preferred Ronaldo over Kane when it came to the price point. And I mean, I could very well go Kane over Mbappe, to be honest. But I'm happy with Trent and Pickford for now. I just think the English midfielders are a little bit expensive, to be honest. And so it's tough to kind of finalize my draft with an English midfielder. Kvaratskhelia is still a good pick. I think absolutely, yes. Pedri plus De Kuyper or Face plus Pedri. I'd probably still just go... I mean, look, if the 0.5 million means a lot to your team, I would spend that 0.5 million on saving it, right? And go for Wout Faze over De Kuyper. Rodri and Gundogan or Trossard and Jorginho. I'd go Rodri and Gundo. Thoughts on Skamaka? I think he's great for people who are going for, let's say, a limitless 2 strategy or a wildcard 2 strategy. So Skamaka, for me, very, very brilliant punt. Do you think Buongiorno will be a starter? I actually saw some Italy predicted lineups, and it seemed like it was maybe a bit of a 50-50, so I wouldn't take that sort of punt. Unfortunately, no Gundo captain. I've gone for Mittelstadt for now. Happy with the German goal scoring. I mean, the clean sheet odds, and hopefully, obviously, an attacking fullback can do the trick as a differential. Is De Vrij or De Ligt playing? I'm honestly not sure. I think it's probably going to be De Vrij, but yeah, I can't guarantee that on you. I think it's just not even a position where it's even worth considering that sort of punt, right? It's not like they have crazy attacking potential compared to, let's say, Van Dijk, who's just insane in the air and also, I don't know, maybe has some hidden penalty share as well. Is only Guehi from England a bad idea? I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. Like, we have a lot of good picks in the tournament. You can go around and mix and match with differentials. Like, there's nothing really wrong with going for different picks. Also, by the way, 800 of you guys in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate it. If you guys could like and subscribe on this video, I'd appreciate it. If you guys need a little bit of more details on sort of European fantasy content, I do a cheat sheet series, and you can sort of look into that. We look into things like the clean sheet odds, the goal scoring odds, and even the projections as well, from my friend Elevenify. So have a look at his website within the link in the description. That should also give you a really good set of information for the tournament that can kind of prep you for how to think about certain things. You're allowed to have multiple captaincies. Yes, indeed. So the way it works, right, is that there's going to be matches from the 14th of June till the 18th of June. So what you can do for match day 1, for example, is match day 1 is a German game. So you just tempt yourself with a captaincy from a German player. And then on the 15th of June, you can change your captaincy again. You can't change it every match, but you can change it every day. So the 15th of June, a new captaincy, 16th of June, a new captaincy, so on. I can quickly just show you something as well. So if I filter my team by dates, I'm more than likely going to go Mittelstadt captain today. Tomorrow, I'll probably go DeMarco captain if I don't like the Mittelstadt sort of haul. If it's a haul, hopefully it is a haul. And maybe Szoboszlai as well, but I'll probably go DeMarco, to be honest. And then on the 16th of June, I'm probably just going to go for a Trent captaincy if I really have to go there. On the 17th, I'll just go Mbappe. On the 18th, I'll just close it out with Ronaldo or Bruno Fernandes. So that's pretty much how it's going to work out for me. And the same way with the auto subs as well. Like, for example, all these players on my bench, I can call upon them. Will Yagi, thank you so much. So you start 20 seconds with no auto sub option for them. MD2. I've limited down to 3. Portugal, Belgium. Smart. Thanks for your content. I think that's fine, right? One thing I'll say as well is, if you have an option for the final match day, right, which is obviously the case with, let's say, the Portuguese picks and the Belgian picks, one thing I'll mention is, as long as those picks are very strong, you don't really mind them coming in as an auto sub, right, Will Yagi? Because you probably want your auto subs to have a higher floor or a higher ceiling as well, both effectively, compared to, let's say, bringing on, let's say, a Georgian 4.5 mid as your final option. That's just my opinion, right? So for the people who are going for the 4.5 Georgian midfielder, it's almost like a dead spot, because what are you really expecting from a 4.5 million pick who's less likely to be a key part of Georgia's overall attacking sort of distribution? I would say, I would probably reverse that logic and say actually having really strong players as an auto sub option at the end is totally fine. So that's sort of my thoughts on that. Obviously, it's nice to have 11 players whole and they all play 15th, 16th, 17th June, for example. But the reality is there are some really strong teams. Belgium and Portugal are really strong, so I don't really mind that. But ultimately, going with 3 as a limitation is totally fine. There's a lot of discussion on whether to choose Dumfries. I mean, look, if there's discussion to choose between Dumfries and Frimpong, I mean, let's expand on the discussion as well. Not only are those 2 players capable of playing right back, you have Gertrude as well, who can play right back technically. And at the same time, of course, it really depends on the sort of lineups that the Dutch will play, right? They could still conceivably play a back 4 or a back 5, which will obviously impact the fullback in that situation. And then there's obviously the impact of Xavi Simons and what position he'll play for the team, and whether that means Frimpong will be benched. In my opinion, there's a lot of risk attached to Frimpong, first of all, because he's more than likely not going to depose Dumfries as a right wing back. So I do think that Frimpong's probably an option to pass up on. Whereas with Dumfries, he might be someone who's worth sort of investing into, but you still have Virgil van Dijk, who could be nailed. And then when it comes to Matchday 2, the Dutch have a pretty tough team. My chip strategy is going to be Limitless 3, Wildcard 5. Will Frimpong start? I'll say probably not. Is Guehi and Trent Alexander confirmed Matchday 1? I mean, for me, I think Guehi is absolutely concerned. He's absolutely nailed, because I can't really see who else England can play. Keep in mind as well that Stones, unfortunately, is an extremely fragile player. So there's even more likelihood, in my opinion, that Stones could struggle to actually make it to Matchday 2 or even Matchday 1. Who do you think takes pens to the Dutch? I still think Depay takes penalties, and then after that, it's Virgil van Dijk. Rishav, go for Ta. Ta, I think, is a great pick. 9 minutes, and hopefully we can find out that German lineup, so that'll be awesome. FaZe or De Kuiper? I think, once again, the question is whether you want to save that 0.5 million. I'd probably go FaZe if that 0.5 million was very important to me. Gundo or Szoboszlai? I think I'd still probably go Szoboszlai, because I kind of like the all-around aspect of his game, the man-of-the-match potential being a little bit higher than Gundogan, the minutes being really good, the ball recoveries being really good, just naturally. Oh, Germany team is out. Let's have a look at the Germany team. Any surprises? Any surprises? Ooh, let's have a look. DFB. Manuel Neuer, Antonio Rudiger. I'll just write it out in chat, to be honest. Why not? This is exactly the team that we expected, by the way. So no surprises. Well, I mean, to be fair, Andrik, I suppose, is a little bit of a surprise. But other than that, I think this is a very strong team for Germany, and this is probably as close to the team as we expected. That's the German team. So we're still good to go when it comes to all our punts. Just going to propose a little bit of a tweet right now. All right, cool. So that's pretty much it. We got some pretty big news. Nothing crazy. But this is the German lineup that we expected. Let's see what the chat has to say. Will Trent Alexander-Arnold start? I think for Matchday 1, most definitely. Most nailed Turkish defender. I wouldn't go for a Turkish defender. I'm sorry. But the Turkish sort of clean sheet odds are awful, first of all, just in general, even for match day 1. And yeah, I mean, I guess the most nailed player would probably be the Turkish goalkeeper, Gundok, but I probably wouldn't go for a Turkish player outside of, let's say, the attacking midfielders, because Turkey's defense, sorry, just has been pretty poor. I think in fan team, obviously you've got Kadioglu as a interesting punt, but I don't think he's even going to start within the team. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably skip Turkey 100% as a team. I know it's nice to have a differential, but at 4.5 million, you have access to some pretty crazy players from Switzerland, for example, like Widmer. For Ukraine, you've got Konoplia. For other teams as well, at 4 million, we still have Mittelstadt and Wout Faes. So yeah, I'd pass up on Turkey. Thoughts on Çalhanoğlu? I think Çalhanoğlu is great, particularly for people who are going for a match day 2 sort of chip strat. Germany haven't kept a clean sheet against Scotland in their last 2 games. Yeah, but I mean, why are we using that as a sample size, right? Are we only going to use 2 pieces of data to sort of piece together our conclusion as to how good Germany might be as a defense? Obviously, Germany still might lose their clean sheet, but I just think that 2 games of data isn't going to be particularly useful for us. Particularly when, I mean, it's not like Germany and Scotland have played a competitive match with, these iterations of their teams previously. So yeah, I think head-to-head data is completely worthless when it comes to this. I just checked as well. The last 2 times Germany played for Scotland was in 2014 and 2015. So, I probably wouldn't make my decisions based on that. Jorginho and Kane instead of Rodri and Cristiano Ronaldo. I'd still probably go Rodri, because I think Rodri's a lot better than Jorginho as an option. I think the minutes are definitely a lot better for Rodri. The penalties, obviously, you can't even say that there's... I don't really think there's a doubt with Rodri's penalties, whereas some people still doubt Jorginho's penalties. So that's something to look at. I think Mbappe, apparently from a French journalist, pretty well renowned, that Mbappe has been in training today. So I think we can probably put all the doubts aside for Mbappe. I think that's really good news. And that's it, really. Some people going for Florian Wirtz as a pick. Fair enough. All right, let's have a look. Choose 2 out of Trent, Cancelo, DeMarco. I'd go DeMarco, and honestly, I'd probably go DeMarco and Cancelo. If you have the ability to actually stretch your budget to go Cancelo, I'd probably go Cancelo. Pedri, I think, is lovely. The only thing I don't like too much about Pedri, obviously, is first of all, the fixtures are quite tough, and the tougher the fixture, it probably means that defensive sort of actions are going to happen, right? So Rodri ball recoveries is quite nice. Scotland lineup, I mean, Shanklin starts if that's helpful to you, but for the most part, I'm probably not going to touch a Scottish player. I can tell you the Scotland lineup if you want, though. So the Scottish lineup, if we just quickly read that out. Where is it? I don't think it's even out yet, is it? Maybe it's out in 2 minutes, or either that or I'm missing something. Maybe we'll get in 2 minutes. Dumfries always comes goal. Yeah, I think Dumfries is great. I forgot to pick Tony Kroos. Oh, sorry, Henry. I think Tony is a lovely pick, to be honest. So if you can go and do Tony Kroos for me, get Arda Güler in the team, get the Real Madrid boys, please do it for me. Hey, but I've got a Real Madrid player in Mbappe. A little bit of ex-Real Madrid legacy in Ronaldo. It's a pretty bad team as a Real Madrid fan, though, I'd say. We have Andre Lunin as well. Why not? Thoughts on Depay? I think it's only really nice as a punt for match day 1, so it really depends on your chip strategy. Çalhanoğlu or Rodri? I'd still probably go Rodri. Between Nico and Pedri for me, Spanish players. So, I mean, Nico's very interesting as a pick as well. Nico Williams, that is, as an attacking sort of winger for the left wing position for Spain. I think it's pretty close, because obviously, look, if you think Pedri's going to play as a 10 and you think Pedri's going to excel there, that could be nice. But obviously, historically, Pedri does play a little bit deeper, so it really comes down to game state as well as to whether Pedri can really sort of operate consistently as a 10 and get some really good results. Williams obviously is just a nailed-in attacker, right? So I'd probably still go Williams at this moment in time. Is De Bruyne worth it over Trossard? In my opinion, yes. I think Trossard's minutes are a little bit shakier. De Bruyne obviously is a little bit more of a talismanic player, if you want to sort of make that argument. The assist share is there for De Bruyne. The goal share is there for De Bruyne as well when I can look at the odds. Christiansen or Guehi, I'd probably actually go for Christiansen if you're going for a match day 1 strategy. If you're going for sort of a wildcard 5 strategy, then I would just go Guehi. What are your thoughts on Musiala captain? I think it's totally fine. Match day 1, first day of the matches, this is a good time to actually go for punts, and why not go for Musiala as a punt? If you had to pick which 2 Italian defenders would I pick, I would probably go, I would probably just go DeMarco Bastoni, to be honest, or maybe Di Lorenzo, but I'm underestimating Scotland. Okay, but I mean, you can say I'm underestimating Scotland, but if I dropped my German players, I'd be underestimating Germany, and it can go both ways. And I don't know. I guess technically, because I don't have, I don't know. Let's say I don't have 3 Belgian players, I'm underestimating them as well. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can build a draft. I don't think it's necessarily wrong to have 3 German players, particularly when the Scotland team is a little bit weak and Germany are still at home, strong team. And yeah, I'm totally happy and comfortable with my decision there. Anyone can win in football. We're just making educated decisions. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there are probably 15 to 20 midfielders that are amazing. And at the 6.5 to 7 million position, there's plenty of punts. In the defensive positions at 4 million to 4.5 million, I don't think you can really do better than players like FaZe, like let's say Mittelstadt, for the 4.5, De Kuiper, Widmer, Konoplia, Ta, the list goes on. So I'm totally fine with going double Germany. If you don't want to go double Germany, that's totally fine. Hi, Fran. Thoughts on Ruben Vargas on free kicks and corners? Yeah, I actually think Switzerland, decent pick, really good match day 1 fixture, and 2, of course, Vargas is a lot of where I think the juice is coming from when it comes to differentials for Switzerland. So totally fine with him if you like him as a pick. Thoughts on Chiesa? I think he's great for match day 1 as a punt. I probably still prefer Scamacca, to be honest, at 7 million, but up to you. Kuiper, Trent, Jorginho, or FaZe, Guehi, Sudakov. I'd probably go the Sudakov variant, to be honest. Hi, Fran. What are your thoughts on Leao as a forward? I just think his minutes are a little bit dicey, right? Like, I mean, he kind of has to share the minutes with maybe João Felix, and I think he's a little bit expensive. Why is my captain a defender? I mean, what's wrong with captaining a defender? Defenders do really well when it comes to UEFA type games where you can get ball recoveries, where you can get man of the match, things like that. Clean sheet odds are really good for Germany as well. Gundogan or Rodri? I'd still probably go Rodri. Why no Cancelo? I just couldn't really afford Cancelo, and I want to save 0.5 million to go for Guardiola. Cheers, mate. Sudakov it is. Lovely. Good luck with that, Duarte. Should I captain Wirtz or Mittelstadt? I think Wirtz is probably the most interesting punt if you have Wirtz, so I'd probably go for it. I'm kind of just punting against the fact that Gundogan is really highly owned from most of the field, so I kind of like the idea that I go for Mittelstadt. Szoboszlai or Højlund, I'd still go Szoboszlai, to be honest. But if you're actually going for a match day 1 strategy, I don't really mind going for Højlund. So if you're, let's say, using a chip for match day 2, I can kind of understand going for Højlund. Gundo plays, yeah, Gundo starts. I mean, I've listed the team in the pinned comment above, so you can have a look at that as well. Bruno must pick. I wouldn't say so necessarily. I still think, if you're looking at Bruno and you want to say KDB is better, I think that's fine as well. I just like Bruno. I really like the amount of minutes that Bruno plays more consistently. I think that gives you a lot of, avenues to points. You're not talking about Miroslav Klose. Yeah. Unfortunately, we're maybe a decade late for Miroslav Klose when it comes to fantasy. But it is what it is. Also, why did I leave out Kane? I preferred Mbappe and really wanted to have a well-rounded draft, particularly in the midfield position, and I felt like going for Kane, it kind of blocked some of the picks that I wanted to go for. So, for example, if I go Kane, I guess what I have to do is drop Ronaldo, and I probably have to drop Trent Alexander-Arnold to a 4.5 midfielder. I don't really love that. I really like the Trent punt, so that's why I'm here. What chip strat would I be doing? Limitless 3 and Matchday 5. Is Teo Hernandez out? I don't think so. It's not confirmed, but I think there's a bit of risk there. Thoughts on Gakpo? I'd probably still go Depay if you really wanted to go for a forward from the Dutch. Should I go Sudakov or just play it safe with Rod? I think it's totally fine to go Sudakov. I'm Spanish, a little bit of bias here with Rodri, so I think you can argue maybe Sudakov provisionally, I suppose, has a higher ceiling because he's a bit more creative. So if you really think that he can get a goal or assist, that's probably a lot better than Rodri, for example. I skipped your super chat. I'm so sorry, Freddie. Let me have a look at the super chat. I apologize about that. Freddie, so you said Cancelo and Jorginho or Ta/Guehi and Sudakov. I like I do like Ta and Sudakov a bit more because I think Jorginho, I mean, the ceiling is a little bit low, right? Okay, yes, he's probably still on penalties. I think that's not really disputable because I think Spalletti actually mentioned that Jorginho should take the next penalty. But when it comes down to it, yes, of course, Cancelo is great, sorry. But I do like the Sudakov punt. I don't know. It's close actually. Cancelo is Cancelo. I think because the minutes are probably better for Sudakov and Ta, I'd probably go Ta and Sudakov. And actually, I would much prefer Ta over Guehi as well, just to make that point clear. Sorry about that, Freddie, as well. I apologize. Kroos or Shaqiri? I think Kroos higher floor, Shaqiri higher ceiling. The way I see it, right, is Shaqiri's minutes are a little bit suspect, right? The coach has already mentioned that he's struggled to sort of stay fit, particularly when it comes to a match every 4 days. So it's not like I think that Shaqiri is going to play 90 minutes every match. So I kind of like the idea of going for Kroos. Why am I starting 5 defenders? I mean, there's an auto sub mechanic, and all the players in my bench play on the 18th of June. So this is lined up based on dates. He has amount of match points potential, which is 3 extra points. Yeah, that's a huge point. So the biggest thing about this fantasy game is, and if you haven't played, let's say, UEFA Fantasy, is matter of the match is very interesting. Fratesi is a lovely pick, by the way. Oguzan. I think Fratesi is great for people who are going for a match day 1 only strategy. How do you change formation? Just auto sub a player. Just auto sub a player. So if you want to change the formation, you just click on one of the players, you just click sub out, and then you just click, and then you just select one of the other players to sub in, and that's it. That's all you need to do. Said our stuff. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for the super chat, and I'm really glad you enjoyed the videos. Let me know obviously if you have any feedbacks, and I'll work on that through the next videos. Casper as well, Kroos plus Castagna or Nuno Mendes plus Doku. Personally, Casper, I really think that Castagna, you don't really need to spend that sort of money on Castagna, right? You've got De Kuyper and you've got Wout Faes as well, cheaper options to the Belgian defense. Nuno Mendes, I really think that Nuno Mendes and Dalot, the position is very shaky. I do like Doku, but Doku's a forward, so I'm not really sure why the comparison is between Kroos and Doku, because Kroos is obviously someone who is a 6.5 million midfielder, Doku's a 7 million forward, unless you have another part of the puzzle that I'm not aware of. So that's what I want to mention first. I do like Kroos. I personally think you can still save money, as I said. Go for another cheaper Belgian defender, and go for Faes and De Kuyper, and then maybe you can actually upgrade another position in your team, and hopefully that can help you as an answer. Which wingback is going to start opposite me? I think it should be Christiansen Seb. Is Jorginho overrated? A little bit, because I think his minutes are a little bit dicey. What are my thoughts on the Mbappe injury? I think he trained today, so I don't really think the injury is very significant. Can we please talk about the Ukrainian Dovbyk? I really like Dovbyk. The goal scoring odds for him are really high, but keep in mind that odds are always based on a player playing the full match. However, the issue, of course, is that the Ukrainian front line is actually quite strong when it comes to depth. So I actually think that you kind of need to take into account the aspect of Yaremchuk sort of taking minutes away from Dovbyk, and for that reason, I'm not that high on Dovbyk. However, he's at a great price still. Why De Kuyper over Faes? I just like an attacking fullback as a punt. Saka or Foden, I'd still probably go with Foden, to be honest, but if the 0.5 million is very meaningful to you, then I would just go with Saka. Thoughts on Serin? I mean, at 5 million, I think there aren't too many great options. It's really Serin or Jorginho. I don't really care too much. Are you starting players based on the soonest matches? Yeah, protagonist, because the whole point of the auto sub mechanic is you just sub in the next day's players. Thoughts on Sudakov? Is he worth it? I think Sudakov is a great punt, so definitely worth it. If money is not an issue, is Musiala the best German midfielder? I think it's a tough question to answer. I think Musiala probably is, but is he worth the 8.5 million? I would probably say probably not. Thoughts Zinchenko or Jorginho? I'd probably go... I mean, you could go Zinchenko, to be honest. It's not too bad of an idea, but I think also ball recoveries aren't particularly great for Zinchenko, and you know, him losing out on clean sheet points is so significant that I'd probably actually go Jorginho at that point for the penalty share. Money doesn't matter. Wirtz are going to win. I'd probably go Wirtz at that point. I don't mind him as a punt. Why Middlestat as captain? Clean sheet odds, ball recoveries, and very sort of progressive attacking player. Thoughts on Camavinga? I don't think he's even going to start match day 1, right? I don't like Camavinga as a pick at all when it comes to fantasy, even though I'm a Real Madrid fan. I just think Camavinga doesn't really offer you much when it comes to fantasy games. Buongiorno worth it, and also his minutes are honestly in doubt, right? Buongiorno sort of worth it. I have Guehi, Faes, Middlestat, 4. I think, look, Buongiorno isn't worth it in my opinion. I don't think he's nailed. I would probably consider some of the 4.5 players, like for example from Ukraine, from let's say Switzerland as well, if you're going for a match day 1 plus match day 2 strategy. So and obviously Ta as well. Anka, hope you're doing well. Hi, is Foden iffy for minutes? I don't think so. I think Foden should be starting the first 2 fixtures at the very minimum. You can argue, obviously, at that sort of left wing position, if he plays left wing, that there's obviously depth in the left wing position now for England. But in my opinion, He can play a multitude of roles, and I think his minutes have been really strong in his previous goings for England. So I'm pretty high on Foden's minutes, more towards the 80 sort of minute side. So I think that's good. Slight is fine. Yep, that's correct. Why not Captain Gundogan? I just kind of like the clean sheet odds for Germany. I like going for an attacking fullback, and I don't really mind going for a differential captain for day one. Can you still make transfers for no cost? I mean, after today, you can't. But obviously for now, up until the deadline, which is going to be in basically 51 minutes time, you can. Do you think Kai and Lukaku are interchangeable? Yes, I suppose so. I think Lukaku is still stronger because I think his minutes are a little bit more guaranteed. He's also on penalties, 100%. Whereas I think with Kai Havertz, you can argue maybe it's split between him and Gundo. So I think I'd still say Lukaku is better. Hi, Fran. As a Real Madrid fan, can I count on Goulet? I think when you go for Goulet, you have to put your hands up in the air and recognize that it's a bit of a punt, right? He hasn't really 100% established himself within the Turkish national team. However, he has played well when it comes to featuring for them. And obviously, as you know, coming on as a substitute, even for Real Madrid, he's done brilliantly. So Goulet is interesting. Why have I removed KDB from my team? Part of the reasoning for why I don't have KDB and Foden is because I still prefer, I think, out of all three of these players, including Bruno, I prefer Bruno the most. And another thing to mention is obviously I didn't really like Jorginho on my team anymore. I kind of felt like it was a forced transfer for Matchday 2, and the ceiling for Matchday 2 is very low, so I kind of liked a little bit more of a well-rounded team, and therefore I've landed on going without KDB. Why Foden out? Same reason as I've just explained. Is Decoy first 11? Definitely for Matchday 1. For Matchday 2, there's a little bit more doubt, but I do like Decoy for the purposes of getting an attacking punt. In a fullback position. Obviously, a lot of people asking about phase as well. I didn't really need to spend the 0.5 million within my team, so I kind of liked going for an attacking fullback over a center back. Why Ronaldo over Kane? Just, the price difference and what it could mean for the rest of my team. Havertz and Jorginho or 7 million attacker and Gundo. I'd probably go 7 million attacker and Gundo protagonist. Gundo, Szoboszlai, I think it's close. I'd probably still lean Szoboszlai first. Is Teo Hernandez a bit of a doubt? For sure, I think he is. Stanek is the best 4 million keeper to pair with. I agree Stanek is the best 4 million goalkeeper. I've mentioned it in my videos already, but I don't really feel the need to sort of save that much money within my goalkeepers. So that's why I have a pretty strong pairing in Pickford and Lunin. Undecided between Quara and Eriksen. I think if I was going for Matchday 1 only, I prefer Eriksen. If I was going for both, I prefer Quara. No Kane. Decided to go Ronaldo just to save a bit more money. Undecided between Kara and... who would you captain other than Mittelstadt? I mean, honestly... all the German picks are good. I think Ta, obviously, I would never consider captaining him. Rudiger is interesting, obviously, if you believe in, for example, like a little bit of an aerial threat element, the ball recovery element as well, because he's actually much better at ball recoveries compared to Ta. With the other picks, so obviously, I think Havertz, if you actually have access to Havertz, is a very good German captaincy, if we're being honest. Who's better, Andrik or Jorginho or Sirin? Honestly, I'd probably say... I'd probably go with Andrik. I mean, if you're not blocking yourself from, a really nice triple up on Germany, I would just go Andrik. Why am I captaining a defender? I mean, why not? What's wrong with captaining a defender? He's an attacking fullback, and they have really good clean sheet odds. Why no Portugal defensive cover? I don't really believe in the concept of coverage in fantasy games because, I just don't. So if I think there's another good 4.5 million defender in the game, I'll just go for the best 4.5 million defender. The same with the best 5 million, the best 6 million. Obviously, Cancelo and Virgil van Dijk are the best 6 million defenders in the game, but when it comes down to it, do I really care that a lot of people are going for Cancelo? Not really. Like, I still think my defenders are very strong, and I'm just going for the best players possible when it comes to maximizing points, at least in sort of my projected view. So yeah, for me, coverage is not something I think about in the game. And I think ultimately the clean sheets are better, at least when I look at the odds, they're better for England, for example, compared to, let's say, Portugal, which is why I have Pickford over Diogo Costa. Best 5 million midfielder. Arguably, it's Andrik. Jorginho and Sirin are also good picks as well. One sec, guys. I'm going to quickly check if we have any sort of other news. I'm just trying to check if we have actually... Oh, the website's actually down, isn't it, guys? Oh, God. Is the web app actually working? I'll check. I'll see if the web app's working. So there is a Euro 2024 web app. Not a web app, sorry, but just the regular phone app. I'll see if it works. Yeah, the phone app actually works, guys. The phone app works. Apologies about how dirty my phone looks, but yeah, the phone app works. I think the website works too, as long as you just let the page load. So don't constantly refresh the page, but you should be able to find your team with no issues. I'm also going to quickly have a look at if we have any updated news on sort of any of these sort of injured players like Teo Hernandez. Well, not injured players, sorry, but Mbappe and things like that. So I did read that a French journalist said that Mbappe trained today, but I didn't see the same news for Teo Hernandez, which is a little bit dubious. So I don't really like that, but hey, that's the situation we're in. Yep, doesn't really seem like there's too much news on Teo Hernandez. League code is somewhere on the stream graphic. It's Q4. I can just copy and paste it for you. Good shout, to be honest. Let me just send you the league code right now. I'll just put it in chat, but I won't pin it though, so that it doesn't really interrupt how we're looking at certain things. I just realized as well that the website is pretty slow, so I've just refreshed my page, but I'll get the league code to you guys as soon as possible. It's just taking a while now to refresh the league page. I can't load it, guys. For whatever reason, the league page is just stuck. But it is on the chat. It's in the top right corner of the stream, so it's Q4OMJT. Obviously, I think you need to get the capitals right. Ruben Vargas or Arda Güler. I'd probably go Vargas because I feel like his minutes are a little bit better. Website full traffic is insane. That's true. It's already shown under captaincy. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was trying to say. But I think obviously people want to copy and paste the league code, which is fair. Q4OMJT is the code. The pinned comment is the German and national team lineup for today. Best 6.5 million midfielder. Gotta say Rodri, my man. Rodri I think is very good because actually when you look at the ball recoveries, that guarantees him at least almost 2 points a game. He's actually one of the few players in world football who consistently averages more than 7 ball recoveries a game. So that's basically guaranteeing Rodri 2 points. Man of the match share is actually pretty high for Rodri because I also think you have to think about all the Spanish players who are going to play the full match. He definitely will, whereas all the other players are pretty prone to being substitutes, particularly let's say Morata and probably Nico Williams. I think Yamal even just to sort of maintain him as well as a 16-year-old player, that's quite significant too. And the other aspect of Rodri as well is that I think he's the penalty taker for Spain. I think we have such awful penalty takers within the Spanish squad. When I look at the starting lineup, I really think that Morata has no chance of being the penalty taker. For me, it's Rodri. Do I like Leao? I don't think so. I think his minutes are a little bit dicey. Why so keen on double German defense? I mean, the clean sheet odds are very good for Germany, so why not take the punt in going for double German defense when they actually have a really cheap access to defense through time at Mittelstadt? Because England always fails to deliver. What is this about? Sorry, Chester. I might have missed the discussion. Mara thinks he is a bit too expensive and will compete. Yeah, that's correct. Leao. Højbjerg, Szoboszlai. I'd definitely go Szoboszlai. Best 7.0. I think Gundo, Kara, Szoboszlai, even Mudryk and Eriksen are great. Kroos or Wirtz. I'd still probably go Kroos if you can save money and actually just benefit from it. I think Kroos is actually a little bit underrated. Excuse me, as a pick. Fran, would you incorporate the limitless chip in FPL? Think it would be fun. I actually think it's an interesting one because I think FPL has always been about maximizing budget. People are always chasing transfer prices, price rises, and price falls. So I think that the way that, let's say, FPL is trying to address the limitless chip is by that sort of new game mode that they introduced at the end of last season, right? So I think we're probably never going to see limitless chip in regular FPL, but definitely for other FPL related game modes, we'll probably see it. Should I play 5 defenders and bench Ronaldo as well? I mean, it's not about playing 5 defenders and benching Ronaldo. Like, you're probably going to call upon Ronaldo, let's be honest. The whole point is that you bench Ronaldo because he's the last to play, and you can just auto sub him every day. I'll live stream tonight as well, sort of looking at it and sort of recommending how I'm just going to go through my auto subs and let's see. I mean, if Mittelstadt does well, we can reconsider the captaincy and things like that as well. But that's going to be something that's going to be quite interesting to discuss tonight. Rodri or Szoboszlai, I'd still probably actually go Szoboszlai, to be honest. Recommended English midfielders, I'd still say, look, Saka, Foden for me are the ones I'd probably go for. I don't love the English midfielders, to be honest, because I do think that their minutes could be a little bit dicier. And also the reality too is that they're priced really fairly, right? A lot of the 6.57 million midfielders are really strong, and I think that there's some value there to be had. And ultimately, it's why I've moved off from Foden, for example, so that I can move off of Jorginho as well. For example, when I used to have Foden in my draft, I had to go for Jorginho, and I didn't really like that. Opinion on Cambiaso, I don't think he starts. So a lot of predicted Italian lineups that I saw didn't have Cambiaso in it, so I think it's a big risk to take Cambiaso. What do you think about Shaqiri over Jorginho? I think that's perfectly fine. Obviously, if you have the 1.5 million to upgrade, that's fine. How many times can you change captain? Once every day. So the way it works, right, is for match day 1, we have fixtures on the 14th of June, fixtures on the 15th. I can only have one captaincy on the 15th of June. And then I have to swap to the next day's captaincy. So, for example, today, I can have a German captaincy. Tomorrow, on the 15th of June, I can go for a DeMarco captaincy. After that, that's it, right? Then I have to go to the 16th of June for my next captaincy, and so on, and so on, and so on. So, effectively, you've got the 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 captains to play with. You can't go back to a captaincy. So, once you've settled on a captaincy hole, once you're happy with it, don't change the captaincy anymore. But we'll talk about that every day when we go through the tournament. Thoughts on Frimpong? I think he's a bit risky. By the way, if you guys are still here in the live chat, really appreciate you guys being around. 38 minutes until you have to lock in your teams fully. But if you guys could like and subscribe, that would really be appreciated. Spain, Rodri. Yeah, I mean, I'm Spanish. Let's be honest. There's a little bit of bias here with Rodri. I think at 6.5 million, Sudakov's brilliant. I think Shaqiri is brilliant as well. FPL Marwan, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hey, Fran, is worth a punt on Moldovan keeper? I mean, at 4.0 million, it's not even a punt, right? You're just saving money on a goalkeeper, so it's not even a punt. So I think it's fine. But I think Stanek is probably the best 4 million goalkeeper. Do I think Trent starts? Yes, I think he does, based on the reporting that I've seen. Without Kane, yeah, we like being brave on the channel. Do you think Trent starts? I do think he starts for match day 1. Yes. Would you say Fabian Schär is nailed? Absolutely. Going work now. Kearney, best of luck as well. Is Andrick being overlooked? Better betting odds of goal involvement than anyone else under 6 million. Definitely Andrick is being underlooked. I think if you don't want to go triple Germany and you have room for Andrick in your draft, go for it. But obviously he is playing deeper, right? So I think the man of the match odds are very low for Andrick. So it's a little bit dull. It's a little bit flat. I think the odds really come from the fact that we have so much expectation over Germany to score versus Scotland, because when we look at all the, I think, fixtures within the tournament, Germany actually have the most predicted goals for match day 1. So that's probably where Andrick's goal share is coming from. But other than that, like, I don't think he's expected to be that amazing. Why double English defense with Trent and Pickford against Serbia's strong team? I just kind of like the attacking punt of Trent, and I think ultimately Pickford I still think is a better keeper than Diogo Costa. I might be wrong. I'm happy to be wrong, but I also have security with Andre Lunin anyways, and that's why I've spent 9.5 million on my goalkeepers. Why didn't I choose Gundogan as a captain? I kind of wanted a little bit of a riskier captain in terms of going for a defender, an attacking fullback that is decent clean sheet odds, ball recoveries in the game, which really helps defenders. Obviously, as a fullback, less ball recoveries, but you can still get more points from that as well. And that's it. Zuber, the best differential? I don't think so. And please stop spamming chat if possible. News on Perisic and I mean, look, I really wouldn't be going for Perisic versus Spain. This is probably the toughest match in the tournament for Croatia. So I think regardless of Perisic news, probably worth avoiding. With Theo Hernandez, if there's a bit of doubt because there's so many strong 5.5 defenders in the game, I'd probably pass up on him as well. Why is Gundogan a good pick? He's basically playing as a 10 for Germany, right? So tactically, he's playing much more advanced, because when Toni Kroos sort of came back into the team, you could see Gundogan was basically playing as an advanced 10. Now, he has been early substituted, but you can see the markets really favor Gundo as well in the change in position. So for when it comes to Germany's goal share, I believe Gundogan is number 2 in German goal share. Best 4.5 million defender. In my opinion, it's probably De Kuyper, but I think it's a bit of a punt as well. So if you don't like the punt on De Kuyper, I think you can definitely go for someone like Widmer from Switzerland. You can go for Konoplia as well, or you can just go for something safe like Ta or Guehi. People who should start matchday 1, matchday 2 for teams with better clean sheet odds. You're going big on Ukraine. That's awesome, Jack. Best of luck to you there. Guehi or Trent. I'd probably go Trent if you can. Frimpong plus Trent is a bit too risky in my opinion. Yes, because I think Frimpong won't start. Thoughts on Andrew Robertson? It is a bit of a risky play, so I'd probably pass up on it. I also think that when it comes down to it, right? Germany have so many predicted goals. You also need to take into account not only is, first of all, Andrew Robertson is a great attacker for Scotland, but he's also going to lose points for the fact that Germany's probably going to score. Now, obviously, if you're going crazy against the idea, and you know that everyone's going double Germany, triple Germany, and you really want to go complete against that, and you want to back Scotland all the way, totally fine. Thank you, Fran. Solved all my confusion. Avichal, thank you. Thoughts on? Oh, sorry, the boys are back. I love how your name is K Anthony, and when I read that, I just read Carl Anthony Towns. Obviously, that's probably not your name, but let's say Wirtz or Gundogan. I think it comes down to whether you want to save that 0.5 million and what it can do for your team. Why Szoboszlai is good. He's the most important player for this team. He's really good at ball recoveries as well. He usually averages around 7 per game for Liverpool. And obviously, even though he might be playing a bit more advanced role for Hungary, I think they're obviously going to be doing a lot more defensive work given how weak they are as a team. So there's some points to ball recoveries. The man of the match share is definitely there because the more impactful you are for your team, if Hungary can pull off an upset, and they probably can in Matchday 1, that's a huge sort of dividend for Szoboszlai. He's also in penalties, as well as some set pieces, and I think that's really nice. So basically, a lot of avenues to expected points. Are you playing wildcard MD2 or Matchday 2 or Matchday 5? Definitely Matchday 5 right now. George ranks Sobo, Guler, Çalhanoğlu, Eriksson for Matchday 1 only. I would say Szoboszlai, Eriksson. I'd say Guler, Çalhanoğlu, because for me, I really like the idea that you're punting for Guler Matchday 1, and you save some money with that. So I will put Çalhanoğlu last, but I think Eriksson has a great fixture, and he's playing as a 10, and Szoboszlai has a great fixture, and he's playing as a 10. Guler is a brilliant player, but obviously he saves you money, and he could be an interesting punt. But there's obviously a little bit of a flip side to that, right? What's the best France defender? I mean, traditionally it should be Theo Hernandez, but there's a bit of doubt over whether he starts. So I'd probably pass on the French defender for now. Cancelo's worth 6 million. I think he is, but obviously I haven't gone for him. Will Bayender start for Turkey? No, I think Gunok at 4.5 million will start for Turkey. Jorginho, Szoboszlai, I'd definitely go Szoboszlai. Score prediction, Germany versus Scotland, I don't know, 3-0. Fertesi only for Matchday 1, better than Rodri? I think so. Yeah, I really like Fertesi as a pick. Could Mudryk over Szoboszlai be worth it? Ukraine is favorite for the match, unlike Hungary. Yeah, I think that's fine. I agree. Look, keep in mind though, right? Going back to the point, Szoboszlai isn't always going to do well, as in he's not someone who's going to only do well if Hungary win the match, right? Because Szoboszlai is such a key part to all of Hungary's play, the big thing is that he's going to benefit anyways when he, let's say, scores 1 goal for Hungary, or if, let's say, Hungary score a goal and he's assisted it. Whereas obviously with Mudryk, you can argue that there's a lot more tools within that Ukrainian team, like, Sudakov, like the forwards, like even between Dovbyk and Yaremchuk, when it comes to, let's say, Sagankov as well. Like, these are all players who can feature within the Ukrainian team and have really good avenues to points and man of the match share as well. Whereas with Szoboszlai, you're kind of restricted to a few options, right? It's players like Salah, it's players like Szoboszlai that really have that sort of goal and assist share down. Trossard, I think, is still quite interesting. What excites you the most about this team? I think it's the idea that you can go for these punts from nations that we don't expect to do well. So obviously Georgia and Hungary, we clearly don't expect them to do well. We don't expect them to come out of their groups. But the idea that you can go for a talisman here and you can take punts against and take punts and go for these players that a lot of people are unwilling to go for. I think in terms of the defensive positions, I like the idea that I'm going to Kuiper and Trent. I really like those as punts for Matchday 1 and Matchday 2. Obviously, Trent is a little bit dubious, right? He could be benched for Matchday 2, but I'm willing to sort of take the punt because I know that I have 2 free transfers anyways. And then obviously a little bit of punt, I suppose, because Kane is super highly owned and I'm going for Ronaldo instead. I suppose that excites me as well. Any news from press conferences today? I believe that Giroud basically confirmed that Mbappe is fine for Matchday 1, and we also got a French journalist confirming that he trained. Why not Jorginho? I think the minutes are low, and just a little bit dull because I think he's not that good at ball recoveries, Jorginho, despite him being a defensive mid. Whereas when you compare it to, let's say, Rodri, he's amazing at ball recoveries. So I think access to sort of points or routes to points for Jorginho are a little bit low considering his midfield minutes aren't great. Is Kroos worth it? I think Kroos is actually very interesting. Kroos is probably one of the more neglected German picks for me. I think at 6.5 million, Kroos is very interesting because you're on a lot of set pieces. He should play more minutes than Gundo, than Wirtz, than Musiala. Obviously, he's not going to play crazy advanced, but Toni Kroos is definitely an interesting pick. Does everyone get 2 free transfers next game week? Yes. Match Day 3? Yes. Kane and Wirtz or Ronaldo and Trossard? I'd probably go Kane and Wirtz, to be honest. Gundogan over Wirtz. I'm still thinking of choosing him. I think it's fine. For me, Gundogan plays in an attacking enough position where I think that, the expectation for him is that he should produce, right? The betting markets still believe that Gundogan can produce. Until that doesn't happen, I'm not going to, get upset about the fact that Gundo hasn't produced. I mean, keep in mind as well, Wirtz hasn't necessarily been producing the last few friendlies as well. Happy Euros, vamos. Good luck, Lebosch. Why him for captain? Middle start, mostly just ball recoveries, good attacking fullback, and also decent clean sheet odds. What are the best 4.5 defenders? For me, Schär and Widmer from Switzerland, Konoplia from Ukraine, Ta and Guehi from Germany and England, respectively. De Kuiper as well at 4 million. I think these are all great picks. Gundogan and Szoboszlai. I still like Szoboszlai personally, but as you can see within my draft, I have both. I just like Szoboszlai because I think his minutes are better than Gundo, and that's it. Why no Kane? Couldn't really afford him in my draft, and I really wanted a well-balanced team. Sudakov is playing midfielder in fantasy, but I mean, he kind of is out of position. I wouldn't say he's a striker, but yeah, he's part of that front line, and he's very advanced. Why 0.5 million in the bank? DeMarco to Guardiola Matchday 2 is the idea. Why no Kane? Explained it already. No Foden. I decided to sort of sell Jorginho, B Matt, so I really wanted to sort of change the picks around. Fran is Spanish. I am indeed. LBJ, LeBron James. Thank you, my brother. Really enjoying the Mind the Game podcast, by the way, LeBron. Nah, but I kid. Appreciate you and love you. Cancelo plus Jorginho or Trent Alexander. Is that Trent Alexander-Arnold plus Rodri? I'd probably go Rodri, Trent. Explanation for the middle start captaincy. Yep, Germany have the best clean sheet odds in the group stage for match day 1, so part of that. Ball recovery is probably going to get 1 point from that, hopefully. And attacking fullback, so definitely going to be a part of that German offense. And for me, Gundogan's minutes are a little bit limited, but I still like the punt because the sort of attacking projections are so good for Germany. So I don't really mind taking the risk on a player who's going to be less owned and captaining him. Why no Grimaldo? I don't think he's actually nailed for Spain, and I also think that the Spanish fixtures are not great from a clean sheet perspective. Sorry, it was German one. Any thoughts on Çalhanoğlu? I think Çalhanoğlu is a great pick, particularly if you're going for match day 1 only. Schär nailed, I think so, yes. Frimpong or Dumfries, I'd go Dumfries. I think Frimpong isn't really nailed. Ta or Widmer, I'd probably still go Ta, but it's up to you. I think Widmer has a little bit more attacking potential, so if you like that, then go for that. Would you go Wirtz captain or middle stat? I'd definitely go Wirtz. For me, I mean, Gundogan is probably going to be the most meta captaincy in the game, so I kind of like the idea of just taking a punt and going for middle slot. I think that's fine with me. Particularly since we have basically 4 insurance clauses, right? Should I get Griezmann? If you want to, but I still prefer Lukaku at that price. Trent or Cancelo? Honestly, I think Cancelo is better than Trent, but don't mind the idea of going for Trent as a punt. No, I actually really like Trent, so that's why I'm here, and I say the 0.5 million. Is the 0.5 million important for you? That's probably the question you want to ask yourself. Gundogan or Eriksen if you plan to transfer Eriksen for match day 2. I'd probably go Eriksen then in that situation because Denmark have a really lovely match day 1. What do you think? Wirtz, Cancelo, Pickford, or Musiala, Dumfries, Lunin? I'd probably go Wirtz, Cancelo, Pickford. Do you think it's a great idea to double up on Gundo and Wirtz or Gundo plus Çalhanoğlu? I think if you can afford Gundogan and Wirtz, I think it's a very interesting punt, definitely. As I said, Germany have the best sort of projections for goals for match day 1. Any consideration for Calafiori? I actually think I've seen Italian lineups and they are suggesting that he can start. But my only issue with Calafiori is it really depends on your chip strategy, right? If you go for a double Italian defense, you kind of need to replace the 2 of them in match day 2. If you go for 1 Italian defender, it's a little bit easier, right? You can save the free transfer to do something else. So you probably don't want to overbook transfers for match day 2. And when it comes down to it, obviously for me, DeMarco is way clear of Calafiori. Joey Verman. I think Joey Verman or Verman, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it properly. But I think he's a great pick, right? When you look at his domestic numbers, they're incredible, honestly, like one of the most creative midfielders in the world. He's obviously going to play a little bit deeper for this team, but I really like him as a pick, honestly, at 6.5. I don't really mind it. Kroos is also great for the same reason too. Grimaldo is for me not a good punt because I really think that Cucurella could easily take that spot away from him. What are your thoughts on Pedri? So De La Fuente basically mentioned that Pedri is going to play as an attacking 10 for Spain. So from that as a perspective, I do really like him as an idea. And the only thing I would say about Pedri is he doesn't really have that many access to points, and the fixtures are a bit tough, right? With Rodri, at least you can say ball recoveries are there, penalties are there. With Pedri, it's all open play. So I don't really love him for that reason. And honestly, if the fixtures were a bit better for Pedri, I'd probably go to Pedri. But fixtures are tough. Cruz is good, Adrian. Definitely go for him. Fratesi is really good if you're only going for a matchday 1 punt. app crashed. Apparently the website and the app is crashing. So sorry about that, guys. But try to obviously get your teams locked in as soon as possible. Try not to refresh the page too much. Try to hold your page down. And that's it. So Boslai Shaqiri, I actually really like Boslai more because I think that his minutes are better than Shaqiri. But if you like the fixtures and you obviously like the goal projections for Switzerland, and obviously you can go for Shaqiri because historically he's been a great player for Switzerland as well. So yeah, it's up to you. I really, for me, it comes down to minutes, and I like Szoboszlai more, but it's close. What about no Belgium? For me, Belgium have amazing fixtures in the group stage. So if you don't want to go Belgium, that's fine. Just make sure you go for other teams that have really strong fixtures. Like for example, Portugal has great fixtures as well, and so on and so forth. Ronaldo did not do well in Europe since 2018. I mean, for me, the fixtures are good for Portugal. So I think that really helps sort of Ronaldo. The goal projections for Ronaldo are still really good. You can argue he's probably a little bit worse when it comes to World Cup performances. So yeah, I think Ronaldo actually has really good historically European performances anyways. I heard Sudakov is playing advanced. He's not really a striker, I would say, but Sudakov is playing in a really advanced creative position for Ukraine, and obviously the fixtures are really good. Serin or Jorginho, I'd probably go Serin. Will CR7 play MD3? I really can't confirm that. I think if Portugal win the first two games and maybe their position within the group is secure, he might get rested for Matchday 3. It would make the most sense to me, but for now, I can't confirm Cristiano Ronaldo Matchday 3. Gabrielle says, yes, I'm doing one Matchday for Tessie. For Tessie, great pick. Good luck with that. Hey, Fran, is Højbjerg good? In my opinion, of course, he scored a couple goals for Denmark, but historically, I would say Højbjerg is not really a pick I would love to go for in a fantasy game format, so I'd say no. Words for Gundogan, I'd probably go Gundogan if the 0.5 million is going to save you some money and actually do good for you. How to change the tactic of the team? Just click on one of the players, right? Just like this. You click on a player like Mittelstadt, and then you just click on the sub button. And then you just sub him out for another player from a different position, and that's it. You've changed your formation. Can't commit my transfers. Is the website not working? Why not Dutch defense? Because they play France in Matchday 2. Is Teo fine? I'm not sure, but Mbappe is definitely fine. I have a how to play video for sure. Like if you guys are not used to the rules, if you're new to the fantasy, have a quick look to the how to play video. If you want to quickly have a look at it, you've got 24 minutes to have a look at that as well. If I can see things that I can explain immediately, I'll try to do so. But the game is a little bit different to traditional FPL. But the most important thing I would say is that the auto sub element of the game is very important, and the sort of making sure you have enough captaincies is a good element as well. Why not Gundo captain? I think it's close. I think Gundo will probably be a slightly earlier substitution, so I kind of like the middle start idea. Obviously, Gundo has really good goal scoring odds, but at the same time, you can argue that Germany have really good clean sheet odds. So for me, it's close. Why don't I want to go for De Bruyne? Because I think it sort of hampers my team, right? I have to go back to Jorginho, which I don't really like. I kind of like just going for multiple midfielders. Best 6 million midfielders, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I can just name a few, right? Sudakov, Rodri, Eriksen, Mudryk, Szoboszlai, Kvaratskhelia. These are all players I love. Gundogan as well. Toni Kroos. So as you can see, at that 6.5 to 7 million price point, I think that's where most of the value in the game can be found. Obviously, when it comes to the more expensive ones, I really like Bruno the most. And I like him a bit more than, let's say, KDB, Bellingham, Foden, etc. Wirtz or Gundo, I'd probably still go Gundo at this point. Just for the goal share, right? Wirtz is actually a little bit more assist dominant. He's a much more creative player than Gundogan, but, you know, different strokes for different folks. You can change the captain every day. So 14th of June, you can have one captaincy. 15th of June, you can have one captaincy. 16th of June, so on. But as long as you're happy with the captaincy, you can stop changing it. How good is Widmer? I think Widmer, I mean, look, he's sort of a right mid for Switzerland, right? So that's going to be a lot of attacking potential. Is he that insane? Are the attacking numbers good for Widmer? Not really, but he's still going to have good clean sheet odds. And yeah. Dr. Yazan says, so why Lukaku not CR7? And why last sub? What do you mean? You're allowed to change players every day. So CR7 plays okay, let me just show you something, right? So if I filter by date, you can see that Ronaldo, Kvaratskhelia, and Bruno Fernandes are playing in the last day. So the whole point is that you want to play all your players playing first, right? So 14th of June, 15th of June, 16th of June, all the players playing on those dates are within my starting lineup. As soon as someone does badly, so for example, if Mittelstadt does bad, or Ta does bad, or Gundogan does bad, all I need to do is just change and auto sub in Kvaratskhelia, Bruno Fernandes, and Cristiano Ronaldo, or let's say Andre Lunin for Jordan Pickford if he doesn't do well on the 16th of June. So the whole point is that you want to lay your team out in order of play, and you can just use the date filter to identify who you want to sort of line your team up with when it comes to match day one. For the purposes of today, all you need to do is to have your German players starting in your team, but that's it. All right, going back to some chat questions. We're almost about to hit 1,000 live concurrent viewers in the chat. That's amazing. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys can like and subscribe, that would be absolutely lovely. Really appreciate the support. I'm really glad that you guys are around. Dr. Yazan, no problem. Feel free to ask any questions as you want. Ali Hussein, thank you for your 5th super chat on the live stream. Nice to see you around as well. Sudakov and FaZe, or Guler and De Kuiper. I'd probably actually go Sudakov and Wout FaZe. Honestly, I'd probably go Sudakov. Because for me, Sudakov's minutes are a little bit more guaranteed than Guler. For me, Guler is a little bit of a punt. At the same time, Guler doesn't have a great Matchday 2 fixture, so that makes a huge difference. Guecki plus Rodri or Cancelo plus Jorginho. I'd probably go Guecki plus Rodri. Cancelo out. I never had Cancelo on my team, but I think Cancelo is still very strong. And obviously one of the best attacking fullbacks in the game. Vindesh says, really great work, bro. Cheers. Wirtz, Chalnogu, Yamal. A lot of Spanish picks, right? But I honestly, I'm a little bit low on Spain because, look, we still have really tough fixtures. The reason why I picked Rodri is because he's a bit more of a defensive player. So even in tougher games, ball recoveries are there as an access to points. But yeah, I think you can maybe cut down on one Spanish player potentially, but otherwise the team looks good. And if you want to find some other midfielders, I think, looking at the draft, probably some of the 7 million midfielders can actually help you out, Vindesh. Ta or Guecki, I'd probably still go Ta. Chip strategy is Limitless 3, Matchday 5. Wildcard 5. Chip strategy, yep, I've explained that as well. Saka and Verbruggen or Trossard and Costa. I'd probably go Trossard and Costa, to be honest, because I think when it comes down to it, Saka's minutes are a little bit shaky. It's not an auto sub, it's a manual sub. You're misleading people. They have to... okay, I'm sorry for saying auto sub, but yeah, you have to manually sub a player. That's a good point. I'll just basically say that's a sub mechanic. Should I double up on German mid or only one plus Trossard? I don't think that you need to necessarily double up on the German midfielders. You can obviously just go for just Trossard as well. I think Trossard's a great punt in of himself. Frimpong or Dumfries, I think Frimpong's a bit of a risk. I'd definitely go Dumfries. Cancelo news, nothing really wrong with him. I think he's going to start. What's the idea behind Rodri? Man of the match element for Spain as one of the key players within our team. Ball recoveries, he's one of the best midfielders or even just best players in the world for ball recoveries per 90. So when you look at his domestic league stats, he definitely clocks within top 10, top 15 in the world. And that's actually within the European players. I think only Schlotterbeck and Rodri are top 2 within all the players within the Euros. So actually Rodri is just really good for that. And then, of course, he's a Spanish penalty taker. Just say sub, not auto sub. Yeah, I think that's fine. I'll just say sub, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Szoboszlai or Shaqiri. Shaqiri, I would say, look, has better projections, but Szoboszlai is obviously a more key player for the team, and he's also going to play more minutes because Shaqiri, obviously, at this stage of his career, as the manager has intonated for Switzerland, is not going to play that many minutes. So I do like Szoboszlai for that purpose. Probably just going to change Theo to Fran. I think that's fine. Wino, Kane, just wanted to save money with Ronaldo. It kind of allowed me to get what I wanted from the rest of my team. Thoughts on Foden? I think he's a brilliant pick still, but ultimately a little bit expensive. So that's why I've sort of moved away from Foden. How does differential work? What do you mean? Like, there's a lot of differentials in the game. I think Ukrainian picks are really good differentials. Swiss picks are really good differentials if you're going for, let's say, a wildcard 5 strategy. When it comes to differentials for this week specifically, I think Dutch players are really strong. If you're only going for, let's say, Matchday 1 as a sort of purposes of attacking the chip strategy entirely through the group stage. So Denmark, the Dutch have really good fixtures, so you can target them for Matchday 1 specifically. Can you substitute players after they've played? Yes, absolutely. That's the whole point of the mechanic. So you can manually substitute, let's say, after Mittelstadt has played, and let's say if Mittelstadt fails or Ta, let's say, gets a red card and you don't want him in your team, you can sub players. What about Chiesa? Chiesa I think is a great pick, but I still prefer Scamacca, to be honest, at that sort of price point. Is Mbappe playing? Yes, he's been confirmed to be ready from Giroud, and also a French journalist said he trained today. Xavi Simon's not starting. I think he should start, but in my opinion, his minutes are a little bit dicier, right? And he's also prone to being an earlier substitute. Can you change captaincy? Yes, you can. You can change captaincy every day. So basically 14th of June today with the German players, you can change captaincy then. 15th of June, you can change to, let's say, an Italian captaincy if you want, or let's say Szoboszlai. What about Chiesa? I think Chiesa is great, as I said, but Scamacca is someone that I still probably prefer at this point in time. Fran tempted to go for Dobbik instead of Mbappe for differential. I think it's fine, but keep in mind, obviously, as I said, that with Dobbik, there's a bit of rotation potential as well within the Ukrainian national team. So Yaremchuk obviously is going to be a little bit of someone who can contest his minutes. But good luck with that as well. FPL Hazard, Kane plus Widmer or CR7 plus Trent. I do prefer CR7 plus Trent, to be quite honest. But thank you so much for the super chat and really appreciate you being around. Saka or Bruno, I'd still probably go Bruno. Why Gundo over Wirtz? Just to save money so that I can go DeMarco to Guardiola for match day 2. Is Luna 100% starting? I think the goalkeeping coach basically confirmed that he'll play match day 1 and 2. Who are winning the Euros? Look, I'm Spanish, so I'm just going to say Spain. But I think if you're a betting person, I suppose France. Best 7 midfielders. I mean, it's tough. It really depends on... Look, midfielders isn't just about, midfielders in isolation. You need to consider how much money you're spending on the forwards, how much money you're spending on the defenders and goalkeepers. So I would say just look at my cheat sheet video if you really want to have a look at some of the best midfielders and have a look at that and make your decisions there. The one or two players that I might have missed on the cheat sheet definitely would have been Sudakov, so you can have a look at him as well. Do you have 0.5 in the bank? I do indeed, actually. I've saved 0.5 in the million so that I can go DeMarco to Guardiola. So basically targeting Albania nonstop. Do you keep previous double points when change captain? No, you don't. Your captaincy. So let's say if I previously captain Middlestad, but I want to keep him in my team, I can just change the captaincy away from him. Oh, sorry, you can't sub a red card. You're right. I was thinking about regular fantasy. You keeping Mbappe? Yeah, I'm keeping Mbappe. How do you justify getting a 5-man goalkeeper instead of Stanek? It's 1 million for an estimated 1 more CS points in the first 2 game weeks, which might even be mitigated by save points. I think your math when it comes to 1 more clean sheet points doesn't make any sense, because if you think about it, the Czech Republic team have like 45% chance of getting 1 clean sheet, whereas let's say England have 70%. So you're basically looking at maybe, I don't know, 25% of a clean sheet, which is effectively more than 1 point. So yeah, I think you're a bit mistaken there. But obviously you can argue that Stanek will make a lot more saves. So for example, because he faces Portugal, sorry, but because he actually has tough match. Oh, sorry, not Portugal. Obviously, Stanek is God, sorry. Because Stanek is obviously going to have a tougher match day 1 fixture. You're going to be looking at Stanek maybe getting 0. Save points really from compared to, let's say, Jordan Pickford, who's going to get much less save points. Czech Republic obviously is Czech Republic is facing Portugal. What am I talking about? No, but yeah, going back to it though. Stanek is going to get more save points, but the clean sheet odds are hugely different. So when it comes to clean sheets, that's going to be a lot more points differentiating Pickford and Stanek. I think the projections for Stanek that I've seen for, let's say, general points is probably something like 8 points, whereas with Pickford it's something like 10, 11 points. So when it comes down to it, those 3 points are very important. And actually, when you look at, for example, the efficiency of point scoring within fantasy games, particularly a game that, let's say, benefits defenders in this format where you can get man of the match as well, it does actually seem to be the case that defenders are much more price efficient in a game like European fantasy, European Championships fantasy, or within a UEFA format, right? And a good example, obviously, is how well Hummels did within the sort of Champions League. As far as Pickford, obviously, going back to him, it does come down to a huge gulf in clean sheet odds, and I think that's quite significant. Why don't you put Mbappe captaincy? Because you can change captaincy every day. Why not Captain Gundogan? I'm still pretty high on Mittelstadt. I think the clean sheet odds are there for Germany, so I kind of like to take the punt there. Sudakov / Vargas or Shaqiri Goulet. I think Goulet is probably the most interesting punt, but only if you're going match day 1. If you're not going for a chip strategy in match day 2, you can definitely just go for Sudakov instead and maybe go Sudakov Goulet still. Mittelstadt as a fullback. It is a fun punt. Yeah, I agree. 25% chance of a clean sheet. 4 points is 1 point. Yeah, but I think the biggest difference as well is also the aspect of you needing to factor in that Czech Republic will concede goals, right? So if Czech Republic are going to concede quite a few goals versus Portugal, that's also going to change the expectation of certain clean sheet points. So as soon as Czech Republic, who are, I think, expected to, let's say, concede 2 goals to Portugal, that's another sort of -1 points compared to, let's say, a Jordan Pickford, who's not even expected to, for example, concede above 1. So that's quite a significant difference. I don't think there's news on Mbappe being ruled out for Matchday 1. I can have a look at the news once again, but as far as I'm aware, there's no new news on Mbappe. I can have a look at it though. Nope, Mbappe trained, and yeah, nothing on Mbappe. I can't see anything on Mbappe, so I'm not really concerned. Didn't need that last minute scare of Mbappe. Why is Middlestat my captain? Decent clean sheet odds for Germany. He's an attacking fullback. Ball recovery, he's probably going to get 1 point. Mbappe did train with the team. Yeah, that's exactly what I reported previously. But someone basically said that Mbappe is not playing match day 1, which is untrue. Captain a Germany player. Yeah, you want to captain a Germany player today because you can change the captaincy tomorrow. Why Middlestat captain and not Gundogan? For me, it's close between the two of them. I think Middlestat's great. Is this the watch party? We could make it a watch party. Why not? I'll have a think about it, and I can change the format. But I wonder what's the best way to sort of do the... Fine, let's make it a watch party. Why not? Why not captain Gundogan with penalties? I think it's close between the two. How do you change formation? You just change a player. So you kind of click on a player like Rodri here, and then you click on... There's a button called sub out, and you can just sub Rodri out for someone else, and you can change the formation like that. It's as simple as that. Is Rafael Leao a good differential? In my opinion, no. I think his minutes are a bit suspect. Shaqiri or Mayer? I'd probably still go Shaqiri because I think Mayer's fixtures are tough. Middlestat, Gundo, or Wirtz captain? I'd probably go Wirtz at that point. I kind of like the idea that I'm going with players who have probably lower ownership. I mean, Middlestat has 24% ownership. Gundogan has 12% ownership, but I think a lot more people... Okay, fine. Maybe I should just go Gundo captain. But honestly, I do really like the clean sheet odds for Germany, so I think that's baked in. Gundogan's sort of penalty share is already baked into his sort of goal scoring odds that I've seen within the market, and I think his market sort of goal scoring odds are something like 39%, something like that. So I mean, that's pretty close when it comes to comparing a goal to, let's say, the clean sheet. And then obviously ball recovery is probably leaning towards Middlestat's favor. So pretty similar, I think, when it comes to sort of like projections. Because let's say man of the match, I'm not necessarily sure that Gundo's that far clear of Middlestat. So I don't really mind taking the risk, I suppose. And hopefully Middlestat can get an attacking contribution. And then, you know, that's case closed. What rank did I get last Euro Fantasy? I can't really remember, but I think it was top 3, top 5,000. I can't really remember. But World Cup Fantasy, which was more recent, I think I finished like 800 in the world. So, yeah. But last time round in Euro Fantasy, I believe one of the days I literally missed out on the day completely because unfortunately I had a family member in the hospital. And I think I benched. I mean, I didn't get to sub in manually. Who's the left back for Italy at the time? His name is eluding me. Had a brilliant tournament. Total brain fart. Spinazzola, sorry. Yeah, Spinazzola. I think I didn't get to auto sub, I think, within the quarterfinals, a huge sort of Spinazzola haul. And yeah. You can actually watch my videos back then. If you were watching my live streams, people will remember. But I literally left my entire Italian team on the bench and didn't sub them in because I was unfortunately not paying attention to fantasy for a specific day, and it cost my rank quite dearly. Enough Euro chat. Bulbasaur, Charmander, Squirtle for sure. I'm a water type starter. Why Captain Middlestat? As I said, I've already explained it a couple of times, so I'm not going to explain it again. Foden and Jorginho out for Rodri and Szoboszlai. I really like that, to be honest, because I really do think that maybe Jorginho, you can argue, is not really one punt at the lottery. It's you know, begging for a penalty and nothing else really. For minimal sort of minutes. Højlund or Havertz, I'd probably go Havertz. This is your first Euro Fantasy. If you have no idea what you're doing, I think I have a how to play video, but there's only 7 minutes left. So what I would say is just copy my draft. No, I'm kidding. But for me, I think the most important thing with Euro Fantasy is to understand that there is a wild card that you'll naturally get in match day 4, and that you have 2 chips, right? You have a limitless chip and you have a wild card chip. The limitless chip is basically a free hit, unlimited in terms of cash, and the wild card is, you know, a traditional sort of fantasy wild card. What I would do is probably go for a strategy where you go for a match day 3 limitless, and then a wild card match day 5. And if you can sort of target teams that have really good fixtures for match day 1, match day 2, kind of like my team here, I think teams that have good fixtures are Switzerland, Ukraine, a little bit more unheard of teams, and the teams that generally have good tournament fixtures all over the group stages are Belgium for sure, Germany for sure, England as well, arguably, even though the group's a little bit tougher, I think, in terms of the quality of the opposition, but just in terms of the average level, I think England still has a really good group stage. Portugal as well. So these are the kind of teams you want to target to kind of create the bulk of your match day 1, match day 2 team. And keep in mind, you have 2 free transfers. So that's pretty much it. Anyone else frozen? Yeah, the website, I believe, is frozen. Savi Simon's replacement at 7.5 million. I think honestly you can just go for any of the 7 million midfielders. Maybe you can save 0.5 million as well within your draft. You don't necessarily need to spend 0.5 million. As I said, I plan to do DeMarco to Guardiola within my own draft. So maybe keep an open mind to that. Otherwise, of course, you can just go Wirtz today if you really want to spend the 7.5 million fully. Sudakov or Shaqiri. I'd probably actually go Sudakov because I really like Sudakov's minutes compared to Shaqiri, who I think is a little bit, regressed when it comes down to his sort of fitness and ability to play 2 games in a row, unfortunately, at this stage of his career. Are you saying Castiles or what phase? I would just go what phase to save 1 million. Depay, Jude, Fratesi, or Kane, Simons, Jorginho. If you're going for just a pure matchday 1 pun, I don't really mind Depay, Jude, Fratesi, but I don't love Jude too much. I'd rather go KDB. Jaha Films, thank you so much for the super chat. If you've got a question, and thank you for your first super chat as well, feel free to drop in the chat. I'll try to look out for that. Why Ta over Rudiger? I mean, it's a 1 million cost difference. Sudakov and Kvaratskhelia or Çalhanoğlu and Eriksen. For me, it really depends on your strategy because I think both Çalhanoğlu and Eriksen have tough match day 2 fixtures. So when you're targeting just match day 1, I would go Çalhanoğlu and Eriksen for sure. But when it comes to match day 1 and match day 2 combined, if you're, let's say, planning to save your wild card, I would definitely go Sudakov and Kvaratskhelia. I've gone for Super John McGinn as a differential. Good luck with that, to be honest. You're going to be scoring against my double German defense, so please don't do it. But good luck to that anyways. You don't understand the captaincy. You can change the captaincy every day, yes. So on the 14th of June, so my German players, you can have 1 captaincy there. Then tomorrow on the 15th of June, I can have a captaincy there. So it's basically Szoboszlai, Rodri, or DeMarco. On the 16th of June, I can change the captaincy again. The whole point of the captaincy is you can change it every day, but you can't go back to a previous captaincy. So as long as you're happy with a haul, if you're happy with the captaincy sort of point distribution that you got, lock it down and you don't have to change the captaincy until the next match day. Lunin over Costa as a goalkeeper despite the clean sheet chances. Yeah, but the thing is, Lunin has less clean sheet chances compared to Costa, but he's saving me 0.5 million. So for me, that's sort of priced in there. Szoboszlai plus Kane or Lukaku plus Saka. I would probably go Szoboszlai plus Kane, to be honest. I still think Saka is a little bit expensive in the sense that maybe, of course, if you think about his fitness, right, and it being a little bit poor, maybe he's going to be an earlier substitute. So I don't really like that aspect of Saka too much. And obviously, I think Kane is brilliant and still better than Lukaku, outright. So yeah, I think Szoboszlai is someone who should give you great dividends. Rudiger to score. I mean, Rudiger can score, and Rudiger probably will score now that I've said what I've said. But the whole point is you're trying to maximize a team within a limited budget of 100 million. If I had to pick Ta versus Rudiger and cash wasn't an issue, obviously I'd go Rudiger, but this is not the situation that we're dealing with. Plan on going Kane over Mbappe could be huge with 80% of the game owning Mbappe. Good luck with you, Andre. I think that's a good punt. Costa is better than Pickford. I mean, that's your opinion, but I think I'd probably disagree. Simply because England have better clean sheet odds. And, I'm not going to say I'm a great predictor of results, but if you feel a certain type of way about Portugal, go for Costa as a pick. But for me, when it comes down to it, I'm someone who, when it comes to goalkeepers, I don't really care too much. I'd probably just back the odds. Sudakov versus Szoboszlai, I think both are fine. It comes down to whether you want to use that 0.5 million. I like Szoboszlai more because I think he's got more access to points, like, for example, penalties, etc., all that kind of stuff. Is there 2 free transfers match day 1? Yes. So basically, after match day 1, you'll get to use 2 free transfers. Havertz for Lukaku. Lukaku, in my opinion. 2 minutes till kickoff. Yep. We're going to enjoy the match. So I will be watching immediately as soon as the match starts. Best of luck, engineer. I don't even know what that means, but sure. As a Georgian, you're tempted to go for Mikhail Tatse. Sorry, I look. I mean, I obviously know who he is. I'm just gonna butcher the name. But I think the only thing that I'll say is you could save money with it 100%. So it really comes down to, you know, two different types of sort of logic or sort of philosophies, right? Some people are going for players like the 4.5 midfielders or the 5 million midfielders. And obviously, if you go for that, you know, it allows you to get your KDBs, your Fodens of the worlds, your Bellinghams of the worlds as well. And if that's what you want to have from your draft, go for it. But for me, I kind of liked a really well-rounded team, and that's sort of what I ended up finishing on. So that's what I'm doing. Do you have any transfers during Matchday 1? Yes, you have 2 Matchday 2 transfers. But guys, try to lock in your team. 40 seconds left. Yeah. Have a look into that. VVD or Frimpong. I'd probably go for Van Dijk. I think Frimpong's bit of a punt. You're allowed to spam now. Yeah, guys, spam now with 19 seconds left instead of making your last moves. Why no Saka? Just wanted the money. Is Pickford odds factoring Harry Maguire injury? Of course it is. Of course it is. I mean, betting markets. I mean, if you think about this like this, right? Betting markets are so sensitive to information that they move all the time. If betting markets gave you bad England clean sheet odds, you would just bet against England, right? And you would win against the market if you thought that the Maguire injury wasn't priced in. MD10, thank you guys so much, or thank you so much as joining a member for the channel. Welcome to Manager. And the team is locked in, guys. The team is locked. That's it. The door shut. Middle start captaincy. Let's watch. Okay, so what are my plans? Well, I'm going to be watching the match on the side, so that's one thing. And then when it comes down to it, I wonder what screen should I show for the watch along? Maybe we can change the stream. Okay, let me see. I can change a couple things about the stream graphic for sure. Deadline. Okay, I'm going to change the screen graphic a little bit. Sorry, once I get my words together. Okay, so we've changed the screen graphic a little bit. My computer is absolutely caked because of the live stream, but I've just changed that. So watch along, Germany versus Scotland. I've got the match now on the side, but I wonder what I should show for you guys right now. Maybe I can show FOTMob. I suppose FOTMob is not a bad graphic to show. And it will actually just show the live match timer. Let me try format this graphic a little bit better. Is there a better way to illustrate this? I don't know. Maybe if I just show this, right? Hopefully this... Okay, let me just like resize this a little bit. All right, fine. We'll keep it like that, and we will watch the match. So if Gunnar does better... No, I can't swap captaincy now. Oh, man. Now the graphics changed again. Why are you doing this to me, FOTMob? I know the comp is kicked off. We're doing a watch along now. We're doing a watch along. I hope this graphic is good enough for you guys. Obviously, we will, maybe if I show the play-by-play. Nah, I think it's fine. I don't really want to show like a betting line, but that's fine. We'll keep it like that, and we'll watch the match. Oh my God, Worst just almost scored. Crazy. Offside, sorry. I've been setting up the live stream and literally missed the first 2 to 3 minutes of football, but here we are. I'll probably stream. I'll think about streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure if I'll stream tomorrow, but I'll probably stream. Yeah, actually, I'll probably stream tomorrow just to show what my auto subs are. I am watching on ITV, yes. If Germany keep a clean sheet, what's the thing with I'll probably keep him. I don't really have to make decisions until the 18th of June or even the 17th of June as well when it comes to the goalkeeper, right? So I've got a couple of days to just hope that, well, I mean, let's be honest. We hope that our team does brilliantly, but let's see. I think I'll replace Ta if it comes to the case where, let's say my whole team does brilliantly, obviously unlikely, because we're going to get some blanks, and why not? But once that happens, we can sort of make that decision about whether we move off of Middlestad. It really just depends on how the tournament progresses for the rest of my team and things like that. Total Tactics watch Soldier Boy, that's right, my man. Scotland have so many Premier League players. Yeah, they do. I mean, like Scotland are not a bad national team whatsoever. Obviously, the back line is a little bit frail when it comes to, like the quality, I suppose, of the center backs and things like that. But or even like arguably their front line where you've got Shankland as well. But look, for the most part, they're a strong team. But so is Germany. Although Germany, obviously, you can argue in some of the recent friendlies haven't been brilliant. Ahmed, are you able to change the name of the stream title potentially? Or maybe we should keep it like this. We'll call it a deadline stream and watch along or something like that. If that helps. Yeah, maybe we should just add MD1 deadline and watch along or something. Or deadline watch along, I suppose. Yeah, you're right. Germany don't really have a defensive mid. But I mean, let's be honest, like most teams in world football don't have a defensive mid, right? So for example, for Spain, like as much as people want to sort of ridicule how bad the team is, like that we've submitted, when it comes down to it, I think in terms of the balance that we have in terms of profiles in the squad, it's pretty good. Barring, let's say, if you wanted to argue like a really sort of dynamic center forward, I guess. But Morata's still very competent. I do love still watching Neuer play football. Like, it's just something that's just so fun. Who am I captaining tomorrow? I mean, who says my captain's going to do bad today? But probably DeMarco, to be honest. DeMarco Szoboszlai. I'll have to make a decision there. Man, I do love watching Toni Kroos as well. Oh, I'm gonna miss him so much as a Real Madrid fan. Oh well. There's nothing new under the sun. What? It's a pretty bad touch, Randrick there. Do I miss Premier League FPL? I mean, we get, I don't know, 8, 9 months of it every year, so I don't really miss it. No, and if we have international football, I definitely don't miss it. Like, I love international football. And obviously, I mean, like, I watch a lot of leagues too, so yeah, going for one enabler is fine. I mean, there were honestly quite a few 5 million midfielders in the game that were interesting, right? Kroos and long balls, name a better duo. There's none. Maybe Kroos and Modric, a better duo. Why not? Does FPL Euro 2024 have prizes? I don't think so. Not that I'm aware. How many points does Middlestat need to score? Honestly, probably at least about 10 points, because I think I'll keep punting. Like, we just have so many options for captaincy. I think I'll definitely throw it away unless he gets like 10, 12, something like that. How many points should my captain score to keep them? I think it depends on the day, right? And it's totally fine for asking that question if it's your first time. Whoa, flow words. Nah, it's fine. Oh, mate, what? That's an awful save, though. Awful save. That's awesome. How many of you guys have words in the chat? I'm so delayed, but I don't know. My ITV sort of stream is probably 30, 40 seconds behind, but below words. Mike captained him. That's awesome. Well, when he's already scored a goal, he's very likely going to get the dividends. That was a poor save, though. Like, maybe not. It was actually struck pretty fast. Well, that's an interesting. I love Nagelsmann's celebration. Ah, that's awesome, Jamie. You miss Rudiger at Chelsea? Yeah, I can't lie. I mean, as a Real Madrid fan, I'm very happy that he joined us. Someone told me to captain Havertz of Words. You've got 4 more captaincy punts. I wouldn't worry too much. Double German attack is a nice differential though, and you already have 1 goal. Your 4th account has a captain. Okay, I've only got 1. Man, ties so huge. uh, I think his deal with Bayern's already done as well, so he should be joining Bayern. Warts, Flo Warts. Yeah, absolutely. Still 80 minutes left. Ooh, outside the box. You're right too. Yeah, that is an extra point. That's huge. And Germany have so much control in this game. Wirtz is so highly owned as well. How highly owned is he? I'm surprised he's highly owned. Let's have a look. I have to check transfers, right? Let's have a look. Words. 39%. When did this happen? Okay, that's crazy. Fair enough. I did not know his ownership was nearly that high. That's quite mad. That's fine. Hopefully we can make it up. Yeah, this referee is I mean he's reffed a lot of big European games. But I've seen the Trossard jokes. Man, Germany looks so much more composed, but just complete control. Cruise control, so I might even say. I'm kidding. So we need like a Gundo goal, hopefully. Super unlikely. Man, Wirtz is in such good positions. I was so close. Oh, and there's been another goal. So everyone scores except for Gundo. Musiala. I'll be keen to see who assists this. Oh, it's a Harris assist, isn't it? Yep. That's domination. Should have got the attackers. You guys play FPL without prizes. You understand it's fun and everything, but there's no incentive. Yeah, I mean, some people play with cash leagues, right? So a lot of people do that. And then, I don't know, I think I just play fantasy because it's, whenever you play a game and there's like a ranking system, you always feel like it's fun, right? To compete against other people in the world. So, like, even for that element of the game, I find that really like thrilling from FPL. But yeah, Musiala for words. Okay, that's good. You've got both. Great touch from Musiala. What a finish. Should have gone for the attackers. Well, I mean, technically, so far, a defender has gotten an assist. And, yeah, the one attacker we own is question mark, question mark, question mark. Nah, but I move what? Look, probably another maybe 50, 55 minutes of Gundo to hopefully enjoy. And he did lay off that pass to Havertz anyways. Yeah, exactly. Still time. Who do you think is winning this cup? Honestly, I mean, I as I said, like if I was a betting man, I'd probably still say France. But realistically, I mean, I'm Spanish. Why not just say Spain? I think games like this is also like why people shouldn't take into account friendlies that much, because I think even for example for the big nations too, like you have to be honest and say a lot of these teams and players just know Like there's just a different level, right, when it comes to playing a serious competitive match and looking into that. Havertz, oof. There's been a lot of balls in behind that look great. Spain is really unreliable. I'd be shocked if we beat Croatia 3-0. I feel like, yeah, like our ceiling, I guess you can argue you saw it like versus Croatia, but sorry, Costa Rica, but at the same time, I just think, at times really when we're facing some of the best defensive teams in the world, we struggle to break them down because we don't have these sort of, how do you explain it? Like just game breakers, I would say is the best way to approach it, right? Like obviously Rodri as a defensive mid, it's incredible what he can do from an attacking phase, but for the most part, like you're still saying that when you look at the Spanish front line, it's still pretty weak. Yamal's great, of course, yeah, but he's only 16, so I'm not gonna put like tremendous expectation on him. You did the tournament prediction picks Portugal, yeah. I think I saw what Mourinho said as well, right? I think he said Portugal, England. Did he say Portugal, England, and France? Is that what he said? As his tournament favorites, which, roughly align with pretty much what the market thinks as well. Yeah, that's what happened in the World Cup against Morocco. Yeah, I mean, like honestly, I mean, even Portugal kind of struggled as well versus Morocco. To be fair to, like Spain, but yeah, we just generally struggle, and penalties as well, definitely not our forte. Despite apparently our players taking 100 penalty shots a day or something for practice or whatever was said by Luis Enrique. We got unlucky in Euro 2021. Is there a pen? Luis Enrique Twitch streamer. Do you guys think Gundogan takes it or Havertz? I need a Gundogan goal, guys. I'm sorry. I'm down bad. I'm down bad. Please let me know if Gundo takes it. This delay. The delay is awful, but apparently Mittelstadt passed that ball in. Oh, ooh, Musiala drew the penalty. Musiala drew it. I don't know who's gonna take it though. You guys think Havertz will take it? If Havertz takes it, then I'm in trouble. We're in trouble. That. Do you guys think that's a penalty? I think if the referee calls it, it's so unlikely that gets reversed. To me, it's not really a penalty, but I don't know. You've called it, so no, it's not outside. He's definitely inside. Oh, I think that's. Is that Gundo taking it? You missed my switch to Gun? No, I've always been on Gundo. Oh, I mean, I've actually always. No, actually, that's not true. Sorry, I did actually. I was on Foden for a bit. This VAR check is long. Gundo stepping up. If he misses, we're cutting the stream. Outside, free kick. Ah, okay, my bad. My eyes deceived me. I guess if it's a free kick, Kroos probably takes it, right? Yeah. Gundo was definitely ready to take. Yeah, I saw that as well. So that's nice. We got that part of the game right. Just why not Gundo just take the free kick as well? Oh, seems like Wirtz. I think free kicks are a bit mixed because I think Wirtz can definitely take, Kroos can definitely take, and Gundo can take. It's way too close to the box, though. Obviously, I'm 30, 40 seconds delayed from, like, just real time, so apologies that I don't have the most up-to-date sort of insights, but yeah. Even Kimmich can take, okay, I guess. Why did I swap Foden and Jorginho? I just wanted my fair share of midfielder punts, and I wasn't too keen on Jorginho. Why you need 4 people on a free kick is beyond me. The chat is playing spoiler. Nah, I get it. I mean, like, even I would react to goals if I was, seeing them in real time and things like that. What amount of points is... I mean, honestly, around 10, 12. Kai Havertz took the free kick, by the way. Which is news to me. I didn't really expect him to be on free kicks. Kroos would have got the assist because he laid it off. There were 2 layoffs. Oh man, 15 points. I think 15 points. Like, if you score 12 points, I actually think you should consider just keeping the captaincy personally. That took forever though. The free kick and the penalty. Now, I know it's a set play, but to be fair, like, even being a part of the set play is something I guess we wouldn't usually expect, right? Because you think Havertz boarding the box better, but interesting anyways. Like, I think the sort of deeper free kicks are probably going to be taken by probably Toni Kroos, if we're being honest. So, but then, like, the direct free kicks, I think there's multiple options. Again, I think Wirtz comes back to it as well. Yeah, Musiala is just a world-class dribbler. Nah, no worries, Justin. Anthony with... Okay, all right. Let's chill out. Andrick with a yellow card. Complete control for Germany. So what does that mean? That probably means that they lose their clean sheet in 40 minutes. Where does Musiala play? He plays for Bayern Munich. I know you're just joking as well. Ooh, well, that's a pretty bad foul, to be honest. Oof. Musiala or Jude Bellingham? Well, I mean, I'm a Real Madrid fan, so I mean, I can't even answer anything but Jude. No, I know dribbling wise, of course, he's insane. Oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, Anthony. Come on, the Tartan army. I can't lie. The insane feet joke kind of has me going. Gundogan was, yeah, he seemingly was on penalties. He was prepared to take. So hopefully a penalty still comes from this game. The big question, Messi or Ronaldo? It's Messi. It's not even, well, I wouldn't say it's not even close, but it's definitely messy. To me, it's not a big question, but I don't know. I mean, some people might feel differently, which is fine. What I don't like about the game state, right? Like for example, Germany having such a big lead this early on, is I think in reality we're basically looking at a world where all the other players can be an early substitute potentially. I mean, depending on obviously how the game goes, and obviously if if Gundo doesn't get involved, then that's even worse. If it's a clean sheet here, would you still change your captain? Yeah, absolutely. I think if it's just no, I know you asked me, Atomic, because I'm a Real Madrid fan, but going back to the point, Ankasar, I think if we only get just a clean sheet from middle start, I'm definitely changing my captaincy. Like if he does get a goal, well, we're talking a different thing here, but I doubt he's getting man of the match at this point. I mean, it seems like just based on how the game has gone, early preliminary favorite is Musiala, right, for man of the match. Got Frimpong in for Cancel last minute. I hope that works. I do think Frimpong could very well not start. And yeah, change from Wirtz captain. I mean, let's see. If Wirtz gets man of the match, you might want to keep it. But let's just see the match play out. Hard to sort of make a decision now. At no point even. Oh God. Tony Cruz coming back to the German national team is such a difference maker. Kai has a handball every game. I hope he gets a yellow card. Man of the match is 3 points. Yeah. You made Sane captain? Yo, that's crazy. Did you see the German lineup before you picked Sane? What a touch from Andrick. Nice. I think someone made a good point too. Like Wirtz scored the ball outside the box, right? So he gets an extra point for that, which is huge. And Germany has so much domination, it's so unlikely that I'm on 33-38. Do you think Barcelona win? I think there's close to no chance Barcelona wins the UCL next year. I mean, honestly, with no bias, I think Real Madrid are just in a much better position in terms of like squad construction and everything like that. But even then, like Man City is probably the best team in the world, um, right? So if I had to already book favorites, it's still Man City to me. What's my next transfer is going to be? Guardiola probably one transfer, and then the other one I'll sort of make a decision. Barca needs some time. Definitely needs some time. Really good young players though, like Yamal. Like I mean, there's just world class players everywhere still from the academy, and that's amazing for them. That looks like a ball recovery from Havertz. Keep in mind, by the way, the UEFA ball recovery system is very weird. Oh, Gundo's in the box. Bye bye, Scotland. Look, this group was, I think people expected Germany domination, and we're probably going to get it, if we're being honest. To see Real Madrid in Mbappe's Instagram bio still feels so crazy. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? I think the most interesting thing that I'd like to find out from this game is how early the substitutions come once again. But you know, because obviously Germany have a lead, it's gonna sort of change my opinion on things as well. So that makes a bit of a difference. Kroos 4 recoveries in FOTMOB, but only one. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So I think the ball recoveries on FOTMOB are completely different to the ball recoveries in UEFA, and that's always been the case. So it is a little bit arbitrary, to be honest, but um, yeah, sometimes we see better consistency than others. We'll see though. Obviously, the UEFA website I think also doesn't really. I don't think it tracks necessarily perfectly live on time. So there could obviously be some post updates as well. Whereas I think FOTMOB's a little bit more accurate first time round. I could be wrong. I could just be completely lying here, but you know, you'll never know. Ooh, that was pretty poor. I think the issue going back to Scotland as well, it's just like the control and the press in that sort of mid block for Germany is just, it's insane. And I do really like Kroos Andrick as a midfield. It seems really balanced compared to, you know, when you have Gundo in the midfield, and he's honestly someone who probably is better like in sort of just manipulating pockets and things like that. If you could coach any, I would still say Real Madrid, right? But I don't know. I mean, I play Football Manager, and you know, when I play Football Manager, I tend to play with smaller teams and things like that, and go for like these kind of journeyman saves and things. But who wouldn't want to coach their own team or like? Uh, that was an awful pass from Gundo, but fine. Asking a lot there for words. It's a bit early for Hendrick. I think definitely we have too much depth, but at the same time, this is the nature of modern football, right? You see how much spending goes into young players because buying an established player is very hard to do. You know, like Real Madrid, for example, spent 100 million on Bellingham, and I don't think anyone expected the sort of goal production that he was able to have previously. Akam, 10 points. Yeah, that's awesome. Hopefully, I'll get some points when the clean sheet comes, and hopefully, the clean sheet never leaves. But we'll see. I'd coach United and get them. Hey, you know, the coaching job last season wasn't very bad if you were looking for a Man United relegation. If we're being honest, we're almost halfway there with a clean sheet. Hasn't been threatening too much from Scotland, but there can always be substitutions and things. Do you think Spurs will ever win a trophy? Um, I think what's tough is that the English league is so stacked, right? Like, as in the mid-table of that league have so much money. Um, you could argue it's a lot tougher to win a trophy, you know, within the English league, and with Man City as good as they are now, it makes things even tougher. So honestly, hard to say whether they ever will win a trophy. But it's always possible. You could, I mean, once Pep leaves, for example, I'm sure you're going to have a lot more anomalous seasons, right? But at the same time, Arsenal, you know, they look like they could reproduce like what they're doing. So that makes a huge difference too. Oh, apparently Gundo had a shot on goal. Ah, okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see that when we see that. 100 mil, then the king just writes it off. Must be nice. Um, I don't think that's how finances work in football, but sure. I mean, if you look at Real Madrid's net spend for the last few years, they've actually sold a lot of players, right? Like Casemiro was sold for like 50 million. Um, oh, Gundo had a nice shot. Oh, Gundo was so close. Ah, he went down. That's looking good for us. Okay, well, it's not like a muscular injury. It is his face though. Uh, what happened? Oh no, God. Okay, never mind. Sorry. Why is he holding his face? Okay, I guess he's just grimacing, but sorry. Bad armchair analysis there. Ooh, that could be a penalty, right? Mate, give me the penalty, Gundo. Please, I'm begging. That's a clear... Oh, that's a pen. Oh, no. Maybe Gundo's too hurt to take the penalty. Maybe the physios need to tell Gundo this is your penalty to take, so you know, like maybe get back up. Maybe get back up, please, Gundo. One a pen is it just 1 point? I thought it was two. I actually forgot. Let me have a look at the rules. Pen. Gundo looks pretty injured though, so I'm not not too happy about this. If I'm honest. Gundo's taking. All right, no spoilers. I'm not gonna even look at FOTMob. I'm not even gonna look at chat. Is it a red card? Havertz has the ball. We are so in the mud. I remember people in the chat were saying that I was underrating Scotland, but I'm not sure if it's gonna go so well for them. When Gundo last minute overworked so as fit in everyone's hunger in midfield. I think Gundo's not taking though, apparently. That was a nice draw of the penalty though. Havertz needs to miss it. Yeah, that would be ideal, wouldn't it? Gundel is not taking the penalty, so King Kai. Oh, he's just cooked a meal. And Gundo's assisted it. Is Gundo's not really getting, he's getting a penalty assist in UEFA, which is a little bit worse than an FPL assist, sadly. How did these guys beat us? Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing when we lost to Scotland, but Scott McTominay was on some sauce, so I'll just say that. Kai over Lukaku, that's awesome. Yeah, that was sad. Obviously, Gundo taking the pen, I guess getting hurt didn't really help too much when it came to that initial penalty. But who knows? He could still take the second penalty eventually, I suppose. One penalty earned is 2 points, by the way, guys. Gundo off at halftime. Let's not do that, please. Let's not do that. Very well could happen, though. Oh, Gundogan actually got 3 balls recovered, so he's on 4 points now. Not the worst thing in the world. He only just gets the penalty earned, basically. You don't get like an additional assist, as far as I understand. I mean, Gundo looks fine, to be honest. If we're looking at him on the pitch right now, but the problem is everyone could very well come off, as substitutes. So that's also not pretty. So that's definitely a big sort of bad sign for Gundo. Maybe Havertz comes off early, and that would be nice, wouldn't it? How many points is Havertz on right now? So he's got a goal and assist, right? I don't know if I don't really know if Havertz would get. I don't think Wirtz was ever taking penalties. It was definitely between Gundo and Havertz. But Wirtz can still cook. It's literally 10 versus 11 right now, which is a nightmare. There should be a live FPL thing. Yeah. I think obviously, like, the thing is, for someone to build that kind of construction of a site, like, that's tough, isn't it? Because people are only going to use that site for 2 weeks. Like, it's going to be a lot of effort to get things right. And also, yeah, I don't know. It's just generally really tough. So that's halftime. Good little start for all the German attackers. But yeah, the clean sheet should hopefully be locked in. The only question is, I doubt my German players are going to get too many ball recoveries. Although Jonathan Tah has already made 4 ball recoveries, so that's good from the business side of things. And Gundo has 3, so 23 points so far. That's huge. Well done. I'm hoping I can get a surplus of an additional 8 points. But then obviously I'll probably need to be subbing off some certain players. Yeah, Havertz captain is lovely so far. I mean, it seems like, I'd say man of the match is still up for debate for sure for a lot of players. Honestly, all the German attackers have been involved, even Gundo, right? When it comes down to like some of the chances he's had, and then obviously the penalty being drawn. I have fairly little points so far. Gundo should have been the penalty taker, but I think, him maybe getting fouled could have impacted things. I'm not quite sure, to be honest. You can decide whether to change Wirtz as a captaincy after this. Like, in my opinion, I don't think there's a need to like even sort of consider it right now. Are you guys playing only the sort of official fantasy game, or are you guys also playing some other games as well? You wanted to see some Scotland fight. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry we didn't get that. Gundo was injured. He kind of was. He was kind of hurt, right, to be honest. You got Gundo because he was supposed to be. Yeah, it is going bad for us, but I mean, it seemed like he was going to take the first penalty, or at least the first ghost penalty, of course. Um, yeah. Just my league. Awesome, Justin. Just the official game. Gundo got the two, yeah, the +2 for the winning pen. Not everything, exactly. I mean, and Gundo hopefully can come on and do something in the second half. That would be nice, wouldn't it? It looks like Gundo was fine, to be honest. I mean, at the end of the half, but I really can't say, of course. We'll see what happens. Gundo is. I'll stand by Gundo's a good pick. He's been in good spots. He had a shot on goal as well. So yeah. Captain Harvard's on fire. That's lovely. I don't think Havertz is getting player of the match necessarily. Like if you've watched the match so far, I think Musiala and Wirtz have shot. I mean, Musiala, in my opinion, has a pretty good shot at man of the match. Why would they risk another 45 for Gundo? I mean, like it applies to every other player, right? It's not just Gundo. But yeah, of course, if he's hurt, then he's hurt. But I think that's one of those tackles where it's just painful as opposed to like there's any risk of, like a lot of damage. But yeah, I think so far it's man of the match probably between Musiala and Havertz. Even Kroos, I guess, by the end of the game, if he continues to control the game as he does, like you never know. Like UEFA don't always just give it to the person who has the most goal contributions. So it's not always just who produced the most goals. I've seen plenty of UEFA sort of fantasy man of the matches given to players who just control the game and things like that. I mean, Mittelstadt's likely to get a captaincy. Hopefully, he can do something in halftime. I mean, sorry, in the second half. Yeah, first assist Kimmich, second assist Havertz, and then obviously Gundo got a pen assist, which is, yeah. It's not given to the high scoring player. I don't think. I've seen plenty of games where they just give it to KDB, for example. I follow mostly basketball, I would say, outside of football and tennis as well. Kroos is a nice pick as well. I kind of hope he can get a set piece. Ruben, he's not really doing much. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Middlestad isn't doing too much. But at the same time, you guys, like, if we're being honest, right, about defenders, our expectations for a 4 million defender should really be that, hopefully they can get us 5-6 points at best. Like, that's how I see a defender really within a fantasy game like this. As long as, let's say, Middlestad can give us 6 points, I can just move the captaincy off him, and I can hopefully keep him in my team. Who do you think gets man of the match? I think Musiala probably can get man of the match so far. But it's a close game. I think it's between a lot of the options. Obviously, Havertz is probably the second contender, I would say, from the game I've watched. Havertz got the highest rating, and so like yeah, I mean SofaScore, FotMob, these apps. I mean they're going to, these are apps that will credit like goal production, right? But then I think like the man and match system in UEFA most often is a little bit, I would say, aura based as well. Can you show how to hide my fantasy team in league? What do you mean by that? Which basketball team? I don't really support a basketball team. I mean, I'm a big Luka fan because he's a Madridista, but that's it really. I mean, I just generally enjoy watching basketball. What chip strategy am I going for? Just wildcard 5, limitless 3. Um, is Gundo no longer a good asset? I think he's not as great of an asset. I also think it's not 100% that he's off of pens, but obviously Havertz taking the last penalty is not great. I think part of it is I think part of it too is that he got hurt from the tackle, so you probably don't want to take the penalty immediately. Yeah. Who's my next captain? Probably DeMarco or Szoboszlai. Celtics in 4. Yeah, Celtics is absolutely crushing the Mavs right now. You have 8 members in league, and 4 of them only I can see. Too much hindsight here. I mean, I would say with Wirtz if he gets man of the match, but we can wait and see and find out who the man of the match is, close to the end of the game, and we can make that decision. Um, is there a live FPL equivalent? I don't think so, unfortunately. I have no idea how to hide your team. I'm sorry, Kizo, but yeah. I've already said my chip strategy. It's limitless 3 match day 5 wildcard. Gundo, I think I would definitely switch the captain unless Gundo's going to get 10 points or 12 points, then I'll swap. All right, chill out, Ross. We don't need to say that in the live chat. Says that the minimum score I would say is probably 10 points. How do you know who will play on game week 3? I mean, I think we can assess what the group stage is looking like, right? So, for example, you can have a look at whether teams have something important to play for. For example, let's say if Spain draw one of the games, clearly they would still need to play their strong team. Not every big team in the world is going to suddenly, not every big team in the world is going to be, two group stage games won heading towards match day 3. So as long as there's a little bit of doubt, I think you're likely going to see some of the big guns still play for match day 3, and then you can make that decision. How do you feel that you picked Gundo instead of Wirtz? I don't really mind. I don't think I was really considering Wirtz too much. So credit to people who went for Wirtz, but the games that you just started, and I've got a lot of other picks to go, and hopefully I got no second half if he comes out for it. Due to rotation, yeah, I agree with this rotation, but I think you can get a sense of who's going to be rotated at that stage in the tournament, right? If on wildcard 2, would Havertz be in it? Yeah, why not? Gundo's doing fine. Yeah, I agree. How do you feel that? Sorry, with limitless, we can still only pick 3 from each. I believe so. Yes, you're still limited by that. My dream to see you the winner of FPL. You really deserve it. Last time you're top 500. Look, I mean, top 500 is extremely hard to do in FPL. So if I can ever do anything like that again, I mean, that would be amazing. If I could win FPL, that would be crazy. But it is so unlikely. Hey, Luis, hope you're doing well. Dominator, am I going to do any other watch-alongs? Yep, potentially. I probably have to cut the stream. Actually, no, I can't cut the. I don't need to cut the stream short. I just need to leave at 10:40, but that's obviously after the game's done. Gundo's doing fine until he gets subbed off at halftime. Oh, Gundo actually, you see, they updated the ball recovery stat, so they've actually removed 1 ball recovery from Gundo. So that's nice. If you're using the group stage chip strategy, would you recommend using Limitless in match day 2 or match day 3? I'd probably do. FPL, no, just the regular official game, fantasypremierleague.com. As far as Ross, your question, tough one. I think let's see how the big teams get on. If there's a win, I'd probably still say Limitless 3 makes the most sense. Again, in terms of the big teams to target, right, match day 2 that have some uniquely good fixtures like Serbia, Czech Republic, these teams, their players are pretty cheap, to be honest. So I don't think you necessarily need to Limitless on match day 2. I'd probably save Limitless for match day 3 still. Mbappe. Breaking news. There's no breaking news at all, so I think Mbappe is fine. If you have a free transfer at the end of match day 3, do we? No, it doesn't roll over at all. You just lose it. Like there's no free transfers at the end of match day 3 because you just have a wild card at match day 4, basically a natural wild card. So yeah, like I mean, you know, you in theory, if you don't use any chips at all, for example, you only have 4 free transfers. I mean, you basically have to just use all your free transfers within the group stage, and that's it. Luis says, I'm on Wart's captain, need him to score again. Look, as I said right now, like I think it's between Kai and Musiala for now, but we'll see what happens. And let's see if Gundo comes out. Oh, Gundo's alive, guys. Gundo's alive. Whew. All right. There you go. I mean, I stated previously as well, I don't think it would make sense for Gundo to come off just at halftime because it seemed like it was just a painful tackle, not like, for example, an actual injury, right? Oh, never mind. Okay, maybe Gundo's off. Or Andrik's off. Oh. Thank God. I almost had a heart attack. How many languages do I speak? 3, I would say. But if I was well practiced, I'd probably say 4. Okay, Gundo, please do something for me, as they say. What's the 4th? I mean, it's kind of cheating, but like Cantonese Chinese is, or Cantonese Mandarin is 2. All right, goodbye, Mo. Who went off? Andrik came off. Grimaldo in main squad. I don't even know if Grimaldo's going to start the first game, to be honest. I think it's a bit contentious. You have Musiala and World's captain. That's lovely. Good start. I mean, even having both to start is just brilliant. So, well done. Recover some balls. Okay. Interesting. Should I refresh my stream, see if I can get it any more advanced. But unlikely in it. Let's see. It's 3-0 right now. Bio tray. Scotland get fatted everywhere they go. Fair enough. Yeah, ITV player is just so slow. Do a call up with FPL Dylan. But no Scotland, no party. Okay. Interesting. Scotland look more attacking this half than the other. And they're playing with one less player. Fair enough. Should be a yellow now. Yep. It's a yellow for Ralston. Thoughts on Spain's chances? I don't know. I mean, you're asking a biased person, so obviously I'm going to say they're good because I have hopeful expectations. I think we're actually a little bit of an underrated team in the sense that we're well balanced, but definitely that sort of ceiling of Spain is not there, you know, compared to previous squads. So that's not nice. But yeah, I really hope that we do well, and I think we have the squad enough that I think we have a squad that can win the tournament. But you know, we're not going to be expected to win, and that's fine. Yamal will definitely start. La Liga, Premier League. What's the question here? Like, what do I like more? I mean, I like watching the Premier League more probably, but obviously I'm a Real Madrid fan. Like I'll say I watch. I would say every FPL weekend I probably watch 80% of every single Premier League game. I've got multiple monitors. I watch as much of the matches as possible. Do I do the same for La Liga? Absolutely not. So I'm mostly just watching Real Madrid or Barcelona or Atleti. But yeah, sometimes I'll watch Betis. Sometimes I'll watch maybe Real Sociedad, but that's about it. Or Athletic. But yeah, in terms of club strength, I mean, that still goes towards the Premier League probably. I'm missing out on Getafe versus Rayo Vallecano. Yeah, I don't think I'm missing out on anything. I mean, Rayo Vallecano, when they were actually under the Bournemouth coach, right, Andoni Iraola, were actually a really interesting team to watch. Um, I kind of feel like Gross is almost like a budget Gross region, if I can say that, without probably like the same sort of quality of long range passing. You captain Havertz and have Musiala Mittelstadt. I mean, that's a good start. It's a good start, regardless. You could probably generally, I mean, if Havertz keeps man of the match, you could probably just generally keep the captaincy. You know, that's how good it is. Right, that was an awful pass from Kroos. What was that? But yeah, 10 men. I feel like this game is just going to be a. And you're also going to see Scotland park a lot deeper, so we might not see goals every. This live is way behind. Second half kicked off already. BioTray, are you. What is going on, BioTray? I think he literally thinks that we just got into the end of the third half. Rudiger with a classic Chelsea sort of shot from distance. He doesn't really do too many of those for Real Madrid. Do you guys like the Euro ball? Like the look of it? I actually think it looks quite nice. And I kind of like the color theme of this Euro, to be honest. So Kroos on corners, which is obviously what we expect. It's way overshot. Nice from Kimmich. Yosua. Ooh. Do I attend all Real Madrid matches? What, in person? No, absolutely not. I mean, I do watch them, but I definitely don't attend them. I don't even live in Madrid. Wish I could though. I'd probably have to afford them first as well. What was that pass from Gundo? Oh my god. What are you doing, my guy? It's not that hard to watch if you're in Spain. What do you mean the match is live? But they still cost a lot. Oh, you mean like just watching live or what do you mean? I mean, at this point, I probably want my defenders to just get subbed off early. I mean, the thing is, okay, what Barcelona game did you get? I think that there's a huge difference. Like, you also probably don't want to go watch. Um, yeah, I'd happily go watch a Chelsea match, Justin. I've had, like, of all the London clubs, I've probably watched Chelsea matches the most. The Scotland selection. Yeah, you're not wrong. Um, at the same time, I do feel bad for Scotland because this is just like utterly one-sided, and you're playing 10 versus 11, and obviously the start was horrific. So there's really not much to be said. Like, this game was over in potentially 40 minutes. But how come Havertz took the penalty? So Gundo actually got hurt, you know, quote unquote, from him drawing the penalty himself. So I think that made a huge difference. You can argue that I think there's still a bit of pen share for Havertz, in my opinion. But yeah, obviously, I don't think, you know, part of the appeal for Gundo is you want him on penalties. And so if he's off penalties, that's not great. Yeah, I mean, like, Hanley's come in, obviously, but, you know, given the red card, but, uh, what was that from Mittelstadt? Pretty lazy start from Germany, tempo-wise, but hopefully they can kind of step up and maybe we can get some more dividends from it. Craig Gordon at 41. Should I transfer Gundogan to Fritz? You mean Wirtz? I mean, you definitely can consider it, but I don't think you necessarily, sorry, need to pull the trigger on it immediately. I can't get over how, like, I knew Tom was a big player, but I can't get over how big he looks compared to Rudiger, who I would associate as a big player, if you guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, you should definitely captain someone else over Gundo. Ta and Sule. Have you seen the photos of how large Sule looks right now? I mean, even if you look at Gundogan positionally, like right now, right, if you're watching the match, like he's still in extremely advanced position. So like the reason to bring him is not purely just because he can get a penalty, right? Like he's just in really good spots as well. And obviously this was a nice match for all the other attackers, but it's not necessarily the case that I think Gundo is going to get nothing um, positionally because yeah, as long as he continues to play as the 10 for Germany, I'm not really too concerned about whether Gundo is a good or a bad pick or not. If you kind of get what I'm saying. Musiala looking brilliant, by the way. I still think Musiala is going to win man of the match based on what we've seen so far. Oh, so close from Wirtz. And that would have been a Middlestat assist. So close. Jonathan Tah's on 6 balls recovered. So there you have it. Being boring can sometimes work. Yeah, we should have had that one for sure. So Tah's what, provisionally on like what, 8 points, I suppose. Is Mbappe injured? Uh Oh my god. I don't think Mbappe's injured at all. Apparently, he's actually ready to play. And we heard from a French journalist that he was in training today, so I think he should be fine. Ring up Tonek. Okay. Musiala's. Oh, Gundo's so close again. Musiala's pretty much dominating this game, though, I've got to say. Yeah, I think Musiala man of the match so far. We'll see. The level of domination of this game, I just feel bad. Like, this is a bit of a write-off of a game, unfortunately. So change the stream name to Mbappe is fine. I think, you know, the issue is, like, when we have so many sources on Twitter, people with so many blue ticks, you know, I myself included, I'm a blue tick, but I don't necessarily, for example, share news on players, right? But so many people can put so much misinformation out there, and you have no real way of verifying how authoritative someone is as a source unless you are doing a lot of research yourself on, you know, who's actually giving good information, who's actually a football journalist, things like that. ITV stream is horrific, you're right. First of all, there's like literally no passion in the stream, and second of all, of course, it's behind by like a whole minute, which is not ideal, but that's life. What was that from Middlestat? Okay. Wow, that's the Florian Wirtz who scored the first goal. Let's go. Was crap in the World Cup? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Middlestat, please do something for me. Not even just to get, you know, the captaincy haul for Middlestat, but more specifically just so I can enjoy my life a little bit with some more points. Just gonna adjust my lighting a bit because I need to use my USB cable instead to actually charge my my phone, which is about to run out of battery. So we're here to watch Jonathan Tah ball recoveries, Mittelstadt attempted assists, and Gundo more ghosting around the box, etc., etc. Meanwhile, Wirtz is making insane runs, and so is Havertz. Okay. Oh my god, and Tah got a yellow card. How dare you, Jonathan Tah? How dare you? He's breaking my heart. He's breaking my heart. Well, I guess he just has to get 3 more ball recoveries to make up for it. Sad. To be honest, like 7 points from a defender is a good return if we stick to this, right? That was a shocking yellow. Why exactly was that? Is that Gundo off? Havertz is off. Florian Wirtz is off. Let's go. Let's go. So that's not Wirtz man of the match, I reckon. Gundo ball watching for the next 20 minutes. Let's go. Wirtz is on 10. Yeah, that's great. Havertz and Wirtz came off, so that's really nice. You know what's sad? I think if Fulkrug is on the pitch, it's very likely that he could take over Gundo as well, penalty-wise. But I don't know. Havertz hooked. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think Havertz is winning the man of the match. It seems like a Musiala game to me. How's the quality of the stream, guys, by the way? Is there any sort of choppiness in the stream, or is it fine? Let me know what your thoughts are. Sane, that was awful. But yeah, weak foot, obviously. Bad position for him, arguably. I mean, Havertz is on a ton of points, so I think you guys will be fine. Like 10 points for Wirtz, and what? How many points is Havertz on? He's got a goal, he's got an assist, right? So what? 4, 3, 7. So he's got 9, I guess, or is Havertz on more? Stream's all good. Awesome, thanks. Good to know, because I'd like to do more of the watch alongs, because I'm just gonna watch all the matches here, particularly maybe even over the weekend. Tomorrow, my wife is at work, and so I will just be sitting here watching football games. So I might as well watch it with you guys, and you guys can sort of role play my wife. The stream on ITV for me is not great. That's I'm sorry to hear that. My ITV stream works fine though. Probably don't need a moderator. No, I need a moderator, so if anybody wants to be a moderator whilst Ahmed takes his day off, we could work some things out. Gonna be watching all matches too. When does Gundo score? Would you take Wirtz 10 off? Honestly, I'd consider keeping Wirtz captaincy. I would consider it. But ultimately, you've got 4 more rolls at the dice, so you kind of have to, if roleplay is involved, you will need a mod. Okay. Yeah. Mittelstadt, can you score, please? My friend. Jonathan Town, 7 points. Gundo just needs 1 more ball recovery to get 6 points. Mittelstadt is on 6 points as well. Is there a way to see every player's points? I think you have to kind of go to the transfer menu, and then you kind of just need to have a look at I think on the website it does show it, but like if you click on the fixture on the website, I think it works. So when you click on the fixture on the website, it kind of looks like this. No, never mind. It doesn't really show it properly. Oof, decent shot from Mittelstadt. Mate, if he struck that one, I so hope Scotland. I'm sorry, but if you guys could not score, that would be ideal for me and my double defense. Very selfish. I apologize. I'm gonna unpin the German lineup because I don't really see the need to keep that on, but there's that. Couple substitutions on for Scotland. McGinn is off. I mean, that already kind of tells you where the game is headed, right? So, yeah, kind of just to freshen up some players, get ready for the next game. You want to see Magnus Carlsen's team? I think Magnus has quit FPL, right? I don't know if he played last season. He's too busy winning chess tournaments. Havertz is not man of the match at all. I think it's Musiala. But yeah, Havertz is a great haul. How many points should a player need for them? I honestly think 10 plus is where you start to question whether you want to keep a captain. I mean, Sean, I'm happy to wait. Full Krug goal. Oh man, everyone gets to score. Who got the assist? Is it Gundo assist, really? Maybe Gundo assist? All right, let's watch it. Let's watch it. Come on, Gundo. I need something, Gundo. Do something for me. Oh. I don't think that's a Gundo assist. I hope he gets it, though. I don't think he gets it. I mean, you can argue I don't know. Tough. Let's see what the game does. Goal of the tournament. All right, that's a little bit early. Let's. I'm sure we'll see better. I hope that's an assist. But UEFA actually traditionally they're very harsh on assists compared to like FPL. So, but yeah, I hope we get the assist because that will send Gundo to 10 to 9 points as well. Please, please give me an assist. I'm begging. I'm absolutely begging. Great finish though. Whoa. I mean, Wirt's captaincy, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. 10 points, I think, is just about the threshold. How stacked is German's bench? Keep Wirt's captain? I think you might want to keep it, yeah. You could keep it until, like, one of the big guns play, if that makes sense, right? Because if you kind of think about it, you probably do want to... I don't know if DeMarco... I mean, DeMarco's a great option, but I would probably still keep Wirtz for now. Change captain from Mittelstadt to... Yeah, of course you have to change from Mittelstadt. I mean, Mittelstadt's done nothing in this game except for get, like, a clean sheet. So, yeah, I would definitely move on to DeMarco. Fulcro goal. I still can't see the Gundo assist. Havertz captain is risky. Yeah, Gundo didn't get an assist. Yeah, the thing is, as I said, UEFA, they're very harsh with assists. So you can argue that Gundo didn't really intend that, obviously, right? Because it was kind of like yeah. So yeah, but it's technically it's an FPL assist. It's not a real assist. In FPL that would be an assist, but I think, but yeah, in a game like this, UEFA is pretty harsh on assists. No, Mbappe's not injured, I don't think. Giroud basically confirmed he's gonna play. Gundo doesn't get the assist. Yeah, that's pretty sad. Mittelstadt has barely any ball recoveries. He's got 2, so he can end up on 7 points today. Yeah, no one gets the assist. Yeah, exactly. That's correct. Because it just comes off really off a defender, to be honest. And it wasn't a shot on target from Gundo either. So now there's much better captains than Mittelstadt. We should definitely be switching off Mittelstadt captaincy. Is Muller coming in for Gundo? Probably, right? That's not nice. When do the ball recovery points are already live? The man of the match points comes at the end of the match. Yeah, that has to be Gundo off the field. So that's pretty sad. Unless he wants to rest Musiala, which I think doesn't make sense. Musiala out? Okay. We're in business. I think Musiala can get man of the match, so you might actually want to keep the captaincy on him. Yeah, Sané's been awful. Well, I mean, in his like 10 minutes of play, but... Oh, Gundo, please. You're like staying on for 90 minutes. Can you just enjoy? Any tips on how to win your custom league? I mean, just keep making good decisions. Like, I think watch the content. We'll continue to sort of share insights and that's it really. Yeah, Musiala getting rested makes sense. 90 minutes against 10 men, and we have the least points from all the forwards, including full crook who came on. We need an FPL hub for Euro. A friend of mine has created a projected points model if you're actually curious about it. So you can find him on Twitter as FPL Schadenfreudist. Never thought they'd score 4. I mean, look, the red card obviously makes a huge difference, right? But yeah, a lot of people in my stream were asking me why I want to go German defense, and well, this is why, right? Any thoughts on Harvard's taking the penalty? I think it was, to be honest, I think the penalties could be mixed still, if we're being honest. Type of the tag of the guy, yeah, Schadenfreudist. That's the tag. I need the clean sheet desperately, so please keep that clean sheet in check. Yeah, this is the Twitter tag of my friend, so you can have a look at his projected points model. Oh my god, is that another full club goal? Okay, this is a joke. It's off. Oh yeah, it is off. Yeah. I don't know actually. No, yeah, it's off. No, it's fine. I mean, if it's still 1 goal, he's not gonna get man of the match. That is. Thank you, Atomic. Yeah, it looks offside. Neuer man of the match, yeah, because he's done absolutely nothing this game. Fair. That's right, actually. This offside call is so much faster compared to what we get in the Prem. We literally need to take like 2-3 minutes for people to draw lines. This is really nice in comparison. Oh, by the way, Mittelstadt completed his 3 ball recoveries, so he's on 7 points as well. This game is, yeah, unfortunately, it's like a little bit of a jog session. All right, Gundo, can you just do something, please? Prem like the drama. Yeah, I mean, it's not been a great season for VAR, to be honest. But you're right. I mean, people do discuss it. I'm definitely moving off the Mittelstadt captaincy for sure. I'd probably also move off of Rudiger as well. For me, I think 10 points is the bare minimum. I think it's absolutely the bare minimum. I don't even know if Scotland have had a shot, to be honest. It's a good question. I need that Gundo goal so badly. It'd be such a good start to the tournament. Because right now, anyone who's on triple Germany just basically has points, right? There's like literally no way you went triple Germany and you don't have points. The amount of middle start shots that we've had. At least he's in good positions. What was that, Muller? Why doesn't he just shoot? I don't understand. Okay, fine. Captain, definitely Captain DeMarco. I don't think it's close. I think DeMarco definitely is the one. I removed Kane as well, but let's see what happens. Tony. Oh, that's nice. Emre Chan. Apparently it's cold out Wednesday night is what the stream is saying. That's so funny. Gundo 90 minutes, please. You have one job. I think Gundo's played brilliantly, guys. What about man of the match for Gundo, yeah? Oh. Shanklin's on. I hope Shanklin doesn't ruin my clean sheet. I think I would actually cry. I'm telling you now, if we lose the clean sheet, the live stream's getting cut off. 100%. 100%. Not even a doubt for me. Gundo's on 6 points. Free players, 35 points. That's brilliant. I mean, I guess that includes captaincy, right? I'm only on a pretty measly 27 points, but I'm going to move the captaincy back off again, so. That's nice, though. I've arguably spent a lot more of my budget on other things. But we'll see what happens. Might keep Havertz captain. Yeah, I think this is a question that I think honestly Wirtz is almost like a 50-50. I would probably keep the Wirtz captaincy if I'm honest. I don't know. Honestly, Germany are playing so well. It is a lot easier to play 10 versus 11 though. I will say that. Sane is here's a weird play. He is a weird player, you know, because I feel like the prime of Sane's career probably was at Man City, but then, you know, at the age that he left, you would have expected that he probably would have developed a bit more as a player, and I feel like I'm not sure if he has. I don't know if that's unfair, but Intelsat words Havertz. That's great. I still think Musiala will get man of the match, but I think obviously Havertz is probably second contender for man of the match. Yeah, if Havertz gets man of the match, I would definitely keep it. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You should definitely keep it. Who's going to be my captain? I think DeMarco probably tomorrow. Do we think that Gundogan is off penalties going forwards? I don't think we need to move off Gundogan. I think he's still in some great positions. As far as obviously like, penalties, I think he could still stay on them. As in it could be mixed, right? Shared penalties. So a couple of things to consider for sure. Definitely no need to move off of him though. Ball recovery seemed to be the cheat code for center backs. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so easy to farm ball recoveries. At the same time, obviously, like, look, the reality is attacking fullbacks attack, right? So, when an attacking fullback gets, for example, let's say like a clean, like if he gets, the full house, which is like, a clean sheet, maybe an assist or a goal, like that's also insane for points, right? God, that's awful, Sonny. Tomorrow, should I captain? I think I'm going to captain DeMarco. Center backs potentially more valuable than left. I mean, it depends once again. I mean, some center backs are not so good at ball recoveries as well. Like when you look at stats, who will be man of the match? I think Musiala or Havertz. Let's just find out what happens. Should be announced pretty quickly. You think Zane could maybe pass the ball? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't think there's any need to get upset about captaincy today. Like we have so many attempts and goes for the captaincy. You really don't need to worry about this in my personal opinion. So, yeah, I mean, take it easy. We've got 4 more days really to mess around. 15, 16, 17, 18. You've got plenty of chances. And yeah, a lot of people will probably keep the Havertz captaincy, which is fine. And hopefully you've got 4 more rolls at the dice. Own goal. Oh my God. I cannot believe this. Rudiger. Oh. Nah. Hey, I think someone said Rudiger was going to score a goal today. So there's the goal. There's the goal. I can't believe this. Oh man. Okay. Okay. There's no offside as well. Dude. Uh, is it an offside? Is that serious? That's horrific. I mean, this is pure hindsight. This is an aberration, but it's fine. God. Okay, Rudiger. What are you doing? Fair enough. All right, there's your Scotland goal. And I don't know, I'll just watch out the last 3 minutes. I mean, there's no need to be a hindsight merchant tank. Like, I mean, having eggs on one basket is fine. Like, think about if you went triple German offense, that's having all your eggs in one basket, and it would have worked. So I think it literally goes both ways. There's no bonus points. It's just a man of the match system. Like if you, I don't know. I know a friend who's got Musiala, Havertz, and Wirtz. So that's eggs in one basket, but it clearly was the right one. But yeah, I mean, aberrations like this, I'm not really gonna take it to heart. That's just fantasy football. Germany have not kept a clean sheet in 10 of their last 12. Yeah, that's true, but that's why odds exist for a reason. It would have been nice if he subbed off Middlestat for Ram at one point, but I think man of the match is still gonna go to Musiala, but we'll see what happens. Oh, you know what's sad as well is we lose the Gundo clean sheet points, whereas the other players keep the clean sheets. Yeah, Musiala still should keep his clean sheet. It's the same as FPL when you keep your clean sheet as well, as far as I'm aware. But actually, let me just double check the rules. Can you sub a player? Can you sub a player who's actually scored an own goal? I haven't actually looked into that aspect. I know you can't sub a player who's got a red, but I don't know about own goal. I might stream when the fixtures are out, but I don't think there's too much to look into with FPL fixtures for now. There's so much that's going to change, especially with transfers and things like that before the summer's over. So I wouldn't be overreading it too much, basically. The plan would just be to sub. Oh my, Emre Chan goal. Does anybody get an assist, please, that I own? Please. All right, we'll just see the goal when it happens. That's a Muller assist. What? Can we do something, Gundo? Nah, I'm not gonna sell Gundo match day 2, I don't think. I'm really not too worried about it. Who has Muller? Well, not me. Muller assist. Game ended. Yeah, the game's over. Ah, well, no clean sheets. But when it comes to my team, I think what I'm simply going to do is just I'm going to take off my defenders later on in the tournament. But obviously, we'll just see who plays tomorrow. The captaincy will probably be DeMarco. I appreciate that, Tank. Fair enough. Man of the match. Let's actually find that out. I think we'll usually get the news on Twitter, I would say. But I'll have a look. I think we can just quickly check on the app, right? Let me just have a look. Well, I'll just wait for man of the match, and then we're going to log off, basically, after that. That own goal was horrific, but it is what it is. Good night, guys. First half was a lot better, but obviously, like, I don't know, when it's 11 versus 10, or it's always a bit shaky. Still waiting for it. Rudiger man of the match. Hey, very well could be. That was great fun. Yeah, I mean, I was sad about the clean sheets. Thank you guys for joining in for the watch party, though. I appreciate that. A little bit depressing at the end, but what can you do? That's just football. I will see you guys tomorrow. But as I said, I think captaincy wise, I'm probably gonna switch it to DeMarco if I'm being honest. I did obviously just watch a clean sheet loss, but why not try it again with hopefully another good left back attacking performance, or even left wing, arguably at times, the kind of positions DeMarco's playing. So let's see. Man of the match wise, still not out yet. Oh well. I don't know. This is taking unusually long. Like usually we get man of the matches like almost immediately from UEFA, so a bit strange, but trying to see if we get any details actually on the match. Yep, man of the match, Musiala, as I said, or well, as we saw, basically. I'm probably going to log off now, but obviously congratulations to Musiala owners. That was awesome. I think he played a brilliant match, and I think, as I said, he was pretty obviously the captaincy choice from what I saw. I mean, not the captaincy, but just the man of the match choice. So yeah, that small little bet, Sean. I think I've won that one, haven't I? But you have Havertz, so you're the winner, and I've got 2 German clean sheet losses, so I'm the loser. So watch party tomorrow. Definitely, we will be there, as Pep says. So I'll see you guys there. Take care. Goodbye, and enjoy the football.